Hey guys, welcome to the Chris Cowlin channel for this live watch along of the Tottenham Hotspur versus Fulham Premier League game. And I'm going to try and smile my way through the opening of this because at this point, it's 0-0. Anything can happen in this game. We could even win this game. However, I'm sure, as many of you may already know, the team news is so disappointing today and so gutting that sadly, our experiences this season of having performed poorly on Sundays after Europa League Thursdays, I fear may go on. But I will get into that. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitter, guys. Please do get involved. Please do send any comments in. Please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do give this video a like so it can be seen by as many Spurs fans as possible. You'll see we have brand new graphics up on the board. Very exciting stuff. And also, as a technophobe, who knows whether these graphics will continue to be as successful as they currently are. I can tell you guys that I will be doing, my name is Barnaby Slater, by the way, in case you don't already know, but I will be doing the watch along here for the whole game, of course, and then straight after I will be doing a post-match instant reaction show. And then I will have interviews with some Spurs fans from all around the world to ask their opinions on how this game went. And following that, at 4:30 p.m., Chris will be back with his usual Spurs Chat podcast today with regulars Craig Dearman, the Daily Mirror sports journalist Ollie Gamp, and sports editor Dustin Lau. So much Tottenham Hotspur content coming to you today on the Chris Cowlin channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And like I said, please do give this video a like. Subscribe to Chris's channel on YouTube if you're not already. And also, if you like the cut of my musings during this watch along, give me a little subscribe on my YouTube channel at Barnaby Slater _ for daily Tottenham and transfer content. But like I said, we've got to talk about that team news. You'll be seeing it up on the screen next to me as we go through the Spurs and Fulham teams. But I can say that just some very disappointing news. But starting in goal, of course, Fraser Forster deputizing for Guillermo Vicario, who will be out for at least the next kind of 10, 11, 12 games. But Forster, I thought, I don't want to hex him, but I thought he did well in the week, didn't he? Against Roma, made some incredible saves. And in general, with the ball at his feet, was okay. Porro and Udogie are fit at fullback, which is good. Dragoshin and Davis still deputizing for Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero. And here's where it starts to get interesting. Yves Bissouma plays in the 6. Of course, Rodrigo Bentancur is suspended. Then Pape Matar Sarr and James Maddison make up the rest of the central midfield. And then Timo Werner on the left, Brennan Johnson on the right, and Son Heung-min up front. And that is because Dominic Solanke turned up at the stadium this morning feeling ill. He has a virus of some sort. And Big Ange Postecoglou turned him away, said, you're too ill and we don't want to make any of the other team players in the squad sick as well. So no Dominic Solanke today, which will make us, I think, a lot less, certainly give us a lot fewer options in terms of mid to long range balls into the number 9, because Son Heung-min will be playing in the number 9. Elite finisher, of course he is. One of the most fantastic finishers in the history of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. However, in terms of his hold-up play, it's not really his game. And the other bit of news that we weren't expecting, Decky Kulusevski, our player of the season so far, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions as well, who he played on the right during the week against Roma, did pretty decently in there. But I was expecting him to start in central midfield. Actually, he played on the right side, Kulusevski, certainly against Man City when we won 4-0 in the last Premier League game. But I was expecting him to start in central midfield today alongside James Maddison against a Fulham team who I'm expecting to do what a lot of teams who come to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium do now, which is try and play deep and narrow. So I was expecting Maddison and Kulusevski to play together, but he starts on the bench. I don't know if he got a little knock in the game against Roma or he's just played so many minutes. And we do have a game, of course, away at Bournemouth on Thursday. So it's a lot of games. And I wonder if, this has been Ange's decision for a while to maybe rest Kulusevski, certainly for the first half or first 60 minutes in this game, and then let him play in the next game. But yeah, it's a brave one by Big Ange Postecoglou, isn't it? Because let's face it, Kulusevski's been our best player. And this first team, I have to say, does not look that strong. I count it as 6 players who you would think would normally make up our first team not starting today. On the bench, Sergio Reguilon gets his first appearance on the bench for so long for Tottenham Hotspur, alongside Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall, Decky Kulusevski, Jed Spence, Brandon Austin, Will Lancashire, Olusesi, and Williams Barnett are the two really young kids making up that bench. My prediction for this game, before I go into the Fulham team, the Fulham starting 11, is that the fans are going to really need to get behind this kind of second string Spurs team for us to have any chance whatsoever of getting a victory. Let's go into that Fulham side. Leno, Teti, Diop, Bassi and Robinson, Berger, Lukic and Nelson, Smith Rowe, Iwobi and Jimenez. And what's the first thing that jumps out at you there? If it's the same as me, how many ex-Arsenal players are in that Fulham side? Don't forget, this Fulham side beat us 3-0 at Craven Cottage last season. Tottenham did not turn up to that game, and it was a much stronger Spurs side than the side that are playing Fulham today. So this is a very dangerous game. On the bench for Fulham today, Wilson, Muniz, who scored against us last season, Kearney, Traore, who always causes us trouble when he plays for sides against us, Wolves previously to Fulham, Castagno, good player, Bender, King, Sessegnon, Ryan Sessegnon coming back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first time since we let him go on a free in the summer, and Amisa. So, listen, this is a big one for Tottenham Hotspur. All week, we've all been talking about how important it is that Spurs find a way to win this game. And I'd have to say now, let's see what happens when we're slightly more underdogs than we would normally be, because with all of these injuries out, again, both centre halves out, our number 9, our main striker out, the best player of our season out, and the goalkeeper. Very, very difficult. I want to talk a little bit as we get started about Timo Werner. Of course, he gets a lot of stick, Timo Werner, doesn't he? He really does. And he's a good boy. He's a willing professional. But when he started against teams who sit narrow and there's not much space for him, he can struggle. And I really hope that today he can prove something that I don't think the fans will be expecting and put in a great performance. As the players are now out on the pitch, they're just lining up as we speak. Also want to talk a little bit about how Fulham can cause us problems today. Like I said, the three behind the front man, obviously Jimenez is a good goal scorer, scored a lot of goals for Wolves, but the three behind the front men all used to play for Arsenal and will all have a big point to prove. Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe and Iwobi. So that will be very, very interesting to see how they play. And I just think they'll probably just try and suffocate us, not give us much space. And I don't want to come across too negative here. And let me know what you think in the comments. Am I being too negative? But like I said, the experience we have this season so far of playing Thursdays and Sundays has not been good. And it's not been good after we've had good results in the Premier League. We've always followed a good result, like an unexpected result, like the Villa game, with a defeat against Crystal Palace. And obviously in the last home game in the Premier League, we lost at home to Ipswich. And you have to say that Fulham have more than Ipswich. So whatever Ange has said in the changing room before this game started, I really hope that he got his full kind of motivational talent and skills going, because this, I can only expect will be a different game. Of course, Bernd Leno in goal for Fulham, another ex-Arsenal player as well. So this side full of players who used to play for Woolwich Arsenal, and they will want to put on a big show in this very difficult afternoon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Danger Ranger says, let's go Spurs 4-0. Sean in the comments says, come on, Madison, time to deliver. Simon and Guillen tuning in from Kona, Hawaii, 3:23 a.m. That is great commitment, Simon. I love it. Guys, keep getting your comments in as the game goes along. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do give this video a like. Let's get this game watched by as many Spurs fans as we can. Just to say, I'm not really often in the comments during the first half because I will be on a little bit of a delay. Because of the broadcasting options that I have. But in halftime, I will be all in the comments. We'll do a Q&A and we can talk about the game, but also where Tottenham are at the moment. Just showing now that Big Ange Postecoglou and Marco Silva having a big embrace on the touchline. Silva's done a really good job at Fulham. He was ousted, wasn't he, at Everton when he got his kind of big job there. But he's done a really good job at Fulham so far. And even though they lost their last game 4-1 at Wolves, 4-1 against Wolves, sorry. They will be looking for a bounce back today. That is for sure. And listen, it's just not going to be an easy game. That is my prediction. I'm not overly positive, I think it's fair to say at the moment. As you'll already will have seen, I'm just a little nervous about it all. But hopefully, and this has happened many times before, actually, when I've done these watch-alongs before, hopefully I can just be proven completely wrong and show that I know very, very little about football. As Tottenham do their kind of pre-match huddle, a lot of responsibility on James Maddison today with Kulusevski not there. And one thing I do like is that Maddison is always, he likes to be the main man. He likes to be the go-to guy, the player that stuff goes through. And he definitely will be that today. As the players start to line up, Spurs will be kicking off from right to left as we look at it. The match is about to kick off. And it'll be interesting to see how Sonny does playing in the number 9 today, won't it? But the game has kicked off now, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, like I said, hope I'm really wrong, but this will be a difficult one. And I'd expect Fulham early doors to try and make it a difficult game for Tottenham. And Fulham are on the ball early. And don't forget, Spurs, I think, in home games in the Premier League have conceded first the majority of the time in the last 15 games. And this isn't unexpected for me either. An early crossfield ball, something that Roma were doing to great success against us in the week. And Tottenham have proven all this season so far that playing on a Sunday after a Thursday, the tired legs of the Europa League has not always been that easy for us. As Fulham just now played along their back line. Calvin Bassey plays a difficult ball. And tell you what, Timo Werner has put in Sonny. Chance early doors. Oh, good save from Bernd Leno. Oh, Fulham tried to play it out a little too casually there. And Werner did the right thing, put in Sonny. But it's saved by the feet of Bernd Leno. And that has got the Spurs fans a little bit behind the team. I'm impressed by what the decision there made by Timo Werner. He could have had a shot on his left, but he didn't. And Bissouma's put Werner in here. Werner's at the byline. Take on your man, Werner. He tries to get the cross and it's deflected and easily picked up by Fulham. And actually, quite rarely for Spurs, we didn't have that many men in the box for that attack. As Werner made it to the byline. As Fulham try and clear, but Pape Matar does well and finds Maddison, who finds Bissouma. It's been a good start. First couple of minutes from Spurs. They made a chance already from a good press and on Fulham and making them play a difficult ball. Calvin Bassey, who suffered in the game here. Good ball from Ben Davies through to Udogie in the half space. Gets Werner out and he's going to... he tries to find Udogie. It's a bad pass. And that went off, I think, for a goal kick. It is a goal kick. So this is what happened. Calvin Bassey had the ball. He tries to play the ball across his goal. It's a bad pass. And Werner with a beautiful first-time ball. And the ball just gets slightly stuck under Sonny's feet. And that's why he couldn't get a good connection on it as he went for the bottom left-hand corner. And Fulham now have it on the left-hand touchline. Again, they try to play a brave pass. It does get there that time, but it really gave Spurs an opportunity. Fulham are playing openly with the ball here. Comes down the right-hand side, and they're playing some good stuff here, Fulham. And they try and put a ball in behind Dragishin to Jimenez, but he's got that sorted. Pape Matar playing one over the top towards Brennan Johnson. Lovely ball from Sarr. Brennan's now one-on-one. Oh, he tries the early cross. And Werner actually, but I'm kind of surprised. He usually is pretty good at making that late run. He wasn't quite on it there. He wasn't expecting the early cross, but he's collected it and found Udogie. He finds it inside to Madders. He's going to chip it through to Udogie. It's going to run out of play, I would have thought. Udogie keeps it on, but Iwobi nicks in ahead of him and plays it down the line. And then Yves Bissouma comes clattering in on Jimenez and gives away a goal kick. Not a foul. Well done, Bissouma, showing some commitment there early doors. 4 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Fulham 0. And as I mentioned earlier, Big Ange Postecoglou will be very keen for Spurs to try and score the first goal in this game because we conceded first so many times in home games recently. As Fulham play it high and Ben Davies wins the first header, Maddison gets it into Bissouma, takes a nice touch, Plays it into Sarr. Gets it stuck under his feet a little bit, but he finds Maddison. Beautiful stuff through midfield from Spurs. As it comes through now into Porro, who finds Brennan Johnson on the inside right. Oh, and he tried to cross it and it's blocked. Thought he might have a shot across the goal there, Johnson. It's in a good position for him. And Fulham now playing on the transition and chip it over the top towards the left wing. And it's one-on-one out here with Pedro Porro. Oh, and they're going to, yeah, they bring it back. And Spurs get bodies back now. And Johnson's got to help out Pedro Porro here. He's got to help him out, and he doesn't. Dragoshin clears the first header. Comes out to Fulham again. Or outside of the box. Bring it across to Teti. Now Spurs have their bodies in the way. But Brennan Johnson, he has to put in some good defensive running here. They're in down the left here, Fulham. Oh, and that's a foul outside the box by Yves Bissouma. Just outside the box. And a really good opportunity for Fulham here in the 5th minute. It's out wide, but they'll have a good opportunity to whip one in towards Fraser Forster here. Basically, it was Anthony Robinson who's beaten Yves Bissouma running towards the box, and Bissouma's just stuck out a lazy leg. And this is a really dangerous position. It's about 8 yards, it's level with 8 yards out, but wide left, and it will be a right footer whipping it in towards Fraser Forster. Spurs have got their defensive line on around 7 yards out. A 2-man wall. Here it comes. And I'll tell you what, that was a good defensive header, I think, from Pedro Porro. Flicks it over his own bar for a corner. So this will be an in-swinging corner. And as ever against Spurs, Fulham just getting men around the goalkeeper. Iwobi is behind Fraser Forster and nobody is on him. And you've got to think that he will come and try and block Forster as they put it onto his head. No, they've gone short, in fact, this time. Comes back out. Werner is easily beaten on the left, and he gives away a foul, does he? No, he gets to the byline, the Fulham player. Gets to the byline, and it's cleared. Seven minutes gone. Half decent defending from Spurs there as Fulham put a little bit of pressure on. As I said at the beginning of the show, this will be a difficult game. Fulham under Silva, very good. It was a bit of an outlier there, their 4-1 loss to Wolves last week, and they'll be looking to put that right today. Don't forget, guys, good press from James Maddison there, but Fulham get it round, and Dragoshin not being pressed. Please do press like on this video if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you are, guys, and please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel if you're not already for daily Tottenham Hotspur content. And Chris will be here at about 4:30 today with his usual post-match Spurs chat podcast as Ben Davies plays a big old diag towards Brennan Johnson, but it's cleared by the defender, and Sarr is in a good position helping him out. Porro gives it back to Sarr there. Sarr comes inside. Could have given it to Bissouma a bit earlier there, I think. Comes to Maddison. Ben Davies with a beautiful ball out to Werner. Good touch from Werner there. It was kind of fizzed at him. Bissouma now will find Dragoshin, I would have thought. Yeah, Dragoshin. And Brennan Johnson giving him an option. And then goes for the dink over. And it's a good ball from Dragoshin there. But it comes through to Bernd Leno, who just takes no chances there and with his feet kicks it out of play. I didn't mind that little ball there from Dragoshin in between the lines, trying to find Brennan Johnson. Easy throw in, taken to Sarr. Comes inside again to Bissouma, who finds Destiny Udogie now in the little inverted half space for the fullback. And Werner now one-on-one against Tete, but decides to come inside to Madders and to Bissouma again. And everything is in front of Fulham at the moment. They'll be pretty happy with that. So it comes to Dragoshin, who lays it across to Davis. Spurs probing. James Maddison on the left-hand side, trying to find some space. Ben Davies across to Radu Dragoshin. Dragoshin just driving forward 5 yards, and again tries to find this time a more difficult ball. Fulham now get it to Iwobi down the right. And good stuff from Destiny Udogie cutting inside there. And he plays in Werner. Good ball. And Werner is now running at his defender into the box. And he cuts inside, which he perhaps shouldn't have done. Perhaps he should have gone on the left. But anyway, Spurs recycle with Udogie. Cuts it inside to Madders. Will he have a dig here? Or he wanted to chip it up to the far post, but he didn't. Finds Pape Matasau. He's going to need an option from Brennan Johnson here. And he has one. And he's fouled there, Brennan Johnson. But the ref doesn't give it, which is poor refereeing as far as I'm concerned. But Porro helps him out and finds Sarr. And Spurs recycle and back on the halfway line. James Maddison now has the ball on the left. Plays a good ball into Udogie. He's getting a lot of ball early time. Yves Bissouma with a bad touch there. And yeah, he chases it, which he shouldn't have done. And Udogie comes to help him out. Does really well. Well done, Spurs. Won the ball back there with Udogie. Sarr now to Maddison. Oh, and Maddison tries to play the outside of the boot ball to Timo Werner, but it's blocked from Iwobi. He's now driving into Spurs box, and they're in on the right here. Oh, Ben Davies with a huge, huge interception there. They would have been in. They would have been through on goal. Oh, and Son tries to play Werner in, but it's intercepted. And the fans getting behind Spurs now a little bit as Fulham finds some space on the left-hand side. And Brennan Johnson again looking leggy, not helping out. And he's not followed the runner, Brennan Johnson here. And Fulham are into the box. Really big chance for Fulham. Another huge, huge tackle from Ben Davies. A huge interception tackle where he actually found, good little round the corner from Timo Werner there. The referee's letting quite a lot go here. But Ben Davies twice in a minute. Fulham looking more dangerous at the moment. Maybe not unexpected based on the team that Spurs have out. They're on the left-hand side now. Dragishin's been dragged off, and it's an easy cross, and they're in at the back post, and Udogie has to head it wide for a corner. Fulham really up for this one. So this is a corner from the left-hand side. If you're looking at it from a Fraser Forster situation. They've got Bassi and Diop coming in from deep. Two big guys. They've got Berger in there and Jimenez. It's going to be an outswinger from Lukic, which shows how I think oppositions respect Fraser Forster in the air more than Vicario. Here comes the outswinger, and it's a header at the near post from Jimenez, and it goes over the bar. It's a good chance. But Spurs were beaten in the air there very easily, and that is a bit of a worry. Ben Davies now with the ball. It's a more open game than I expected, I have to say. I think the team lineup has really made Fulham think they've got a big chance of turning Spurs over here. And let's face it, they do. Spurs have gone something a little bit longer towards Sonny there, and Diop clears it pretty simply. And now Fulham have the ball again. And just so far, Brennan Johnson just looking a little leggy. He needs to help out his fullback more. That's what I think. Oh, I'll tell you what, they've just powered a ball back at Leno, but he's dealt with that pretty easily and goes long, which I'm not surprised at considering that pass. Ben Davies wins the header up against Iwobi from that long ball from Leno. 13 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Fulham 0. Fulham take the throw in quickly. I think the way Fulham are looking at this is knowing that Spurs have played on Thursday night, they're trying to match us energy-wise, which isn't often something that teams who come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium do, but Fulham definitely looking stronger than us at the moment. Such a shame we've got no Dominic Solanke today. Such a shame that Kulusevski's not starting this game, but at least he's on the bench, and maybe we'll see him second half as Fulham find it easy to get in down the left-hand side again here. And Dragishin's been dragged out and is easily beaten, but he got a little grab of the player's shirt and plays a nice ball down the line to get out of trouble there. Dragishin just did enough there. I think if you're a Fulham fan, you'd be calling for a foul there, but it wasn't given, and Spurs won the ball back as a result. Just showing Marco Silva on the touchline there. As I said, he's doing a good job at Fulham. Really is. Really is. They always have to kind of get a lot of players in and a lot of players out each summer, Fulham. Anyway, Maddison took the throw in, gave it to Porro, got it back, and wins another throw in there as Fulham pressing Spurs high. 14 minutes gone now. on the right-hand side with Pedro Porro. Spurs arguably should be 1-0 up from that Son chance in the first minute. However, Fulham have looked dangerous ever since then. And Tottenham struggling to kind of get out and beat the Fulham press at the moment. Oh, and Sonny's just won it back there well. But the ref again hasn't given another foul. And Jimenez now finds Iwobi on the right-hand side. And he's got his fullback is, I'll tell you what, Bernard did follow his fullback, but it was a bit late. And they try and get a cross in there and well blocked by Pape Madassar for a Fulham throw. Fulham having all of the ball at the moment. All of the ball in this game. Tete's going to take this throw in on the right. Spurs fans trying to get behind the team here, but not a lot to cheer about at the moment as Fulham definitely look the more dangerous. Down the right, Iwobi now. Finds it all the way back to Diop, who comes across to Bassi. Fulham playing some good stuff here. Iwobi on the right now, looking energetic. Trying to run at Destiny Udogie, wants to take him down the line. Udogie clears it relatively easily for another throw. Spurs are just a little lackadaisical here in one pace. One positive, if you want to try and find positive, is this is how we started against Manchester City. As they try and play a through ball there down the left and it's intercepted. Sarr now finds Bissouma. He doesn't really have an option, has to turn away. Finds Dragishin, who finds it inside to Maddison, who turns away nicely. He was fouled, but played play on. And now he's on his own. He needs help here, Madders, and he has to turn away. And he's fouled again by the ref, who lets it go. But that's ridiculous to let it go there because Bissouma's under pressure. Well, I don't know what the ref's doing there. And we've lost the ball because of that. That is terrible refereeing. Terrible refereeing. And Iwobi now dinks it to the far post. It's a huge chance they're going to score. Oh, and Forster has to make a save. Deary me, the refereeing there is abhorrent. And Destiny Udogie now driving down the line. Honestly, I'm really disappointed with the referee there. It's Fulham for won it off Udogie there. And they're in down the left here again, Fulham, at the byline. It's a good cross back, and Udogie does well. Finally, the ref blows up for a foul on Spurs. And the whole fans erupt. I mean, I guess you could say it's, you want referees. Oh, I'll tell you what, good ball there to Johnson down the right, and he takes a good touch, but then loses it to Bassi. You could say it's good that the referee's trying to let things go, but not if it puts Bissouma under pressure, which it did, and then he lost the ball basically outside his own box. And Dragishin's just lost the ball down the left as well, and he's out of position, and now Iwobi is breaking in at the far stick here. Big chance for Fulham again. And it goes to the far stick where Iwobi is, and Udogie needs to get in the way here. And Udogie gets his foot in the way, and Spurs now are going to play on the transition here as it comes to Pape Matsar, but they're not breaking at pace at all. Sarr finds Pedro Porro on the right. Fulham have got a lot of men ahead of the ball here. And Johnson's made a run for him, but chance! Oh, and Sonny! Oh! They tried to play it back to a pass back to Leno. I'm telling you, Brennan Johnson looks tired because Johnson had a chance to run in there and he didn't go for it. This game is so open and they're beating us down the left time and time again here. Here they go again. It's Reece Nelson who's causing all the damage on the left for Fulham. Just as City were getting in down the left the entire game against us as well, to be honest, with Guardiol and a few of their players. 19 minutes gone, very open game. Spurs have had a couple of chances, mainly from Fulham mistakes, both times. And Sonny has not been clinical with his finishing, which is unlike him. Fulham playing the ball away. Spurs playing more on the counter-attack today. And it comes to Jimenez down the right-hand side. Bissouma's with him. Don't dive in, Biss. He doesn't, and he flicks it out unluckily for a corner. Another corner for Fulham. I think this will be their third. Once again, guys, please do give this video a like on YouTube and subscribe to Chris's channel. And stay tuned for all the Spurs content today. Chris will be with us after my post-match reaction with a Spurs chat podcast with some of his regulars, including Craig Dearman. Anyway, this will be an outswing corner from the left from Fulham. They've got a lot of big men. Lukic again. They made a chance, didn't they, from the first one of these. Jimenez at the near post with a glancing header just over the bar. Here it comes. They go deeper this time. It's a free header to Fulham. Second ball cleared by Ben Davies. They have a shot from far out, and it's deflected. Another shot blocked by Bissouma this time. And Ben Davies again has to make a huge tackle, and that is a goal kick. How has that been given as a corner? Davies had a huge start to this game. That is unbelievable that they've given that as a goal kick, as a corner when it's a goal kick. This referee is having a horrible start to this game. I'm sorry. Just ridiculous. It's another corner to Fulham. 20 minutes gone. This one's going to be an in-swinger. Here it comes. Cleared at the near post well by Pape Matar. Comes out to Robinson. Plays it out wide again. They're in on the left again here. And now Emil Smith-Rowe. Careful not to foul him there, Sarr. And he doesn't. He goes down easily. And actually the ref then plays it for Spurs. And Spurs have a transition here. And James Maddison does well and plays it well down the wing to Sonny. And Sonny looks for Werner first time. Nice idea there from Son. Because Werner would have been in down the left. But it's well blocked by Anthony Robinson, who I've said before, I think he's always played well, Robinson, for Fulham against Spurs. But other people who I've spoken to about him don't really rate him. But it was Robinson who tried to pass it back to Leno, and Sonny tried to take it round Leno, whereas what he should have done is just tried to dink it over him first time, I think, and he didn't. And that's 2 chances Sonny's missed so far this game in the first 21 minutes. Spurs play it out to Werner. He plays a nice ball inside to Madders. His first touch wasn't quite there. Gives it back to Ben Davies, who finds Yves Bissouma. He might have to go back to Forster here, and he does, as Fulham put a bit of a press on Bissouma and Dragishin. Ben Davies offering Forster an option. He gives it to him. He gives it into Bissouma, who plays it into Madders, who plays it down the line to Werner, who was offside, so he just let it go, or he thought he was offside there. And it goes out for a Fulham throw-in. Oh, and the co-commentator saying, who obviously has the full view of the pitch because he's at the game, saying that actually Werner was onside, which sounds like the most classic Werner thing ever, doesn't it? To think he's offside, so not go for the ball and actually then be onside. Just always go for it. Play to the whistle, Timo. Come on. Tete with the throw-in now for Fulham. 0-0 so far. Good game for the neutral, even though it's 0-0. Lots of openness. Oh, Sarr there was it's kicked again, but it does well, finds Maddison. It's quite congested in central midfield as it comes back to Dragishin. Finds Destiny Udogie, who gives it into Ben Davies. Needs an option. Gives it to Werner, who finds Udogie. That's good football from Spurs there. Some good 1- and 2-touch stuff. Udogie into James Maddison on the left-hand side now. Sonny makes a run to the left, meaning there's no one in the box. And Spurs, obviously, with nobody big in the front line, not keen to put as many crosses in as they might if Dominic Solanke was playing. Comes out to Yves Bissouma now. Spurs just in this last few minutes getting hold of the ball a little bit as Fulham drop off a little more. Maybe Fulham just taking a little bit of a breather after that kind of energetic start. Dragishin lays it across to Bissouma. Tempted to try and play it into the 10 where Maddison is. Currently, Maddison, Son, and Porro all very close to each other as we try a long ball over the top. Sonny gets the first one. Chance for Porro on the shot, and it's wide. It's a good effort on the half volley from Pedro Porro. It was good football from Spurs. And it's a corner, actually, because that was deflected. I think this might be Spurs' first corner in a game like this. Tell you what, if you could find a way to score from a set piece, that would be pretty amazing. But we haven't got the biggest side, have we? Only really Dragusin is big. But we do get it first time into the box. It's flicked at the near post and cleared by a Fulham player. And then the shot comes in. I think it was maybe Porro on his left foot this time and goes wide. That was a good delivery. Flicked at the near post, but nobody from Spurs coming across the 6-yard box to get the second ball and head it home. 25 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Fulham 0. Just showing Mickey van der Ven and Guillermo Vicario on the bench talking. Fulham go long. Jimenez wins the header, but nobody going past him. And he was offside anyway. So Tottenham now going to have a free kick just in their own half. Basuma, well, it's on the halfway line somehow, which that doesn't make sense because it wouldn't be offside, but never mind, it's taken. Dragusin. He wanted to go to Brennan Johnson early, but Johnson wasn't there for him, and he plays a difficult one into Sarr. And now Basuma does well, gets away and gives it into Maddison, who gives it to Udogie, who finds Timo Werner. And Udogie makes a run for Werner, takes a defender away. Werner comes inside, gives it into Madders. He's pointing where he wants Udogie to go, but Udogie was taken by a player, marked by a player there. Basuma brings it across to Radu Dragusin. Again, Brennan Johnson kind of moved in behind, tried to play a ball in, tried to make a run in behind. Here, Johnson on the ball now, into Sarr, who nutmegs the Fulham player and getting it back to Porro. But I have to say, they're looking relatively comfortable defensively, Fulham, when Spurs are popping the ball about like this. As Udogie finds Maddison, takes it on the half turn, looks into Son, who cannot take it, but he does get fouled. At last, the referee giving a foul in behind Son there, and that's pleasing because Sonny was getting frustrated himself at how often he was getting kicked from behind by Diop. Spurs take it quickly. Basuma across to Dragusin, and this time Johnson does make the run and get the ball, and Porro goes past him, but Bassi gets there first. Don't foul him here, Pedro. He doesn't, and Spurs win the second ball, and it's a foul. Well, he's played play on there, ref, but he shouldn't. It's a much better position where we were. We have to go backwards now. But a good ball from Dragusin finds Porro. He gets an early cross in. Werner chance, and great defending because Werner would have headed that goal bound. Tete, great defending at the back stick. Corner taken quickly, but defended by Berger. And Fulham clear. Davis picks it up. And Basuma takes it off Ben Davis. It's very, very tight. Oh, Basuma tries to chip through for a great run from Sarr, who does get a foot on it, but the wetness of the surface makes it skid away from him. It goes off for a goal kick. But I like seeing that run from deep from Pape Matar and a good attempted chip through ball from Basuma to find him there. Good, trying something a bit different there from Spurs. I don't mind that. Nobody ran from midfield with Sarr, and it was just ahead of him. If he could have just got the first touch on it rather than after it had bounced, maybe he could have got a shot on goal. Just replaying Porro's beautiful cross in, and it really was a vital touch from Tete to stop Werner from getting a header on goal. Udogie now just running away from Iwobi. Finds Werner with a good first ball from Werner into Basuma, who finds Son but loses it there. Sonny holding it up, and that's where we miss Solanke, isn't it? His hold-up play just isn't quite of the level of Dominic Solanke, and Fulham now have it in their back line. Well, they play a dangerous ball, though, and Spurs, they've won it back with Porro. He tries to play the through ball, and this time it's Bassi who gets an important flick on it and goes through to Leno. And Bassi is down injured there, stretching. Looks like he's maybe stretched a stomach muscle. It's either an awkward landing or he's stretched. He really stretches out there. And yeah, Bassi, he looks in pain here, Calvin Bassi. It was a vital little flick he got on it because Madders was running through on goal. Yeah, and he's down here. I'll get into the comments, seeing as we've got a little break in play here. Ren, Barnaby's commentary is always top-notch. I appreciate that. Twanvo, found you, Barney. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Get the comments in, guys. Sean says, is Brennan the most unfit 20-something in England? I don't know if he's unfit. He's played a lot of minutes, hasn't he? He really has played a lot of minutes. SM saying, all attacks on Porro's side cannot defend incoming balls. Yeah, one thing I would say, I've said this a lot about Spurs this season, is we do not block the cross at source nearly well enough. Joan Neth, sorry. Thank you, Joan, for writing in. Once again, we're playing down to our opponents. Dave B says, referees had a bet. El Bento says, dial down the ads, YouTube. Can't go 5 minutes without interruption. Kine Kazrud says, what's happened to Ben Davis's eye? Don't know. I haven't seen anything about his eye. And Dylan Wright absolutely correctly says, Davis, huge tackle. In fact, Ben Davis has been Spurs' best player so far, I'd say. Made 2 or 3 huge interceptions. And without those, we would undoubtedly be at least a goal down. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep the comments coming in, guys. Don't forget, at halftime, I will absolutely be all over those comments, answering your questions, talking about Spurs' season so far, talking about anything you want to, including going through, obviously, a full update of what happened in this first half. I'd say at the moment, open game. Roy Hodgson is in the crowd, they're showing. It's an open game. I'd say Fulham have got in some really decent positions. A couple of times, maybe they should have scored. And Spurs are just starting to come into the game now. But maybe this, realistically, this little hold-up, Bassey going down, this might benefit Fulham, because it felt like they were taking a little bit of a breather the last 5 to 7 minutes, as Bassey is off the side of the pitch with the physio, and the ball is in Leno's arms. And he'll go long to allow Bassey to come back on the pitch, I would have thought. And he does. Udogie challenging in midfield, and it comes off Jimenez for a Spurs throw. He takes it early, Udogie. And I have to say, he took that from a long way ahead of where it was. And it's a good ball through towards Johnson from Son. Johnson didn't quite have the pace. Robinson is quick, isn't he? So Johnson's going to have to think about playing a bit differently in this game, because he's not going to outpace Anthony Robinson the way he does quite a lot of other fullbacks. And Fulham now on the right-hand side with Tete. He tries to play a long ball through into Jimenez, and Dragusin's with him. Holds him up. Don't foul him here, Drag. And it goes off for a throw into Spurs. Well defended by Dragusin out on the touchline there. 31 minutes gone. Yeah, the ref is letting a lot of things go, but that time, I have to say, I have to be honest, I have to be non-biased. He let a throw-in go there from Spurs where they took it about 10 yards ahead of the ball. And Sarr trying to play a ball that wasn't really on there through to Johnson. Spurs have won it back. But Sarr's got to think about this now. He's played a couple of balls through to Johnson. One has worked out because it was better passing-wise. But bizarre bit of play there where there were 2 balls on the pitch and Porro left the ball he was playing with, ran 15 yards to clear the other one off, and Fulham just let him do it. Very interesting. Anyway, Ben Davis plays it into Son there, who plays a very, very tired ball back to Davis. Nearly went out for a throw-in. Sonny already looking absolutely spent here. And Udogie, oh, he got away with one there, Udogie. But a good ball into Sarr now, midfield. And Son's made a run, and he's found him here, Sarr. Bad hold-up play from Son again. Very disappointing. I have to say, I love Sonny, you know I do, but couple of opportunities there to hold the ball up and make a chance. And as a result, Fulham are on the transition now. "33 minutes gone." And I think it's Tete maybe is down. Yeah, he's down injured. He nicked the ball ahead of Son there when Son couldn't hold it up. And Sonny just kicked his ankle. Accidentally, for sure. Yeah, there's nothing in that at all. Very little in that. Tete really getting in the ref's ear, trying to suggest that Sonny should have been booked for that, but absolutely nothing in that at all, and I couldn't disagree more, frankly. But you'd have to say the back four of Fulham have played well so far, apart from a couple of loose passes that they've made across their own goal, which have led to opportunities for Spurs, both of which have fallen to Sonny, really, as Marco Silva looking slightly frustrated on the sidelines. But if I were him, I'd be pretty happy with the way the first 34 minutes or so have gone. as the ref gives a drop ball to Berger. And Fulham play it down their left. They look to dink it over Porro there, and that's been a bit easy, but it comes all the way through to Forster, who claims that simply and gives it to Bissouma, possibly a bit soon. Comes back to Dragoshin. He needs an option here, Rad. And he goes all the way long and kicks it off. Trying to find Brennan Johnson down the sides. But that came from, I think, Forster throwing it out a little too early, putting his defenders under pressure. I know that Big Ange wants that, but there is a time to just be sure that it's not going to cause you trouble. Anyway, Fulham have the ball now, and Spurs just putting the press on here. Sarr gets a little touch in before Berger, but Berger's able to go back to Leno, who sweeps it out wide left. Tottenham nearly just winning the ball off Fulham in a dangerous area there. But Fulham, as was said in the comments earlier, doing a lot of damage down the left. And they're played all the way across here, playing some good stuff across the pitch here as it comes down the right with Tete, who, of course, isn't injured anymore. He's going to find a Iwobi. No, he doesn't. He goes early cross. Big chance, Fulham. Amazing save from Fraser Forster. But Fulham still have the ball, and it's a corner. Wow. That is an unbelievable save from Forster, from a header. And he would have been onside because Ben Davis had dropped deep, and it's Jimenez who missed it. Corner. One-handed save to his right. The cross from deep was not offside because, for once, Ben Davis dropped behind his 18-yard line. They like to defend on that 18-yard line. That meant it would have counted, and it's a great header downwards, and Forster with a huge hand. And it's an in-swinging corner now, coming towards Fraser Forster. There's a lot on it. Forster can come for this. Oh, and he missed it, Forster. Oh. Let's see this. He was appealing for a foul here. Well, he just ran into the Fulham player. That's an interesting one, that, because Forster came for the ball and the Fulham player was there, but it's more Forster run into him. I think that would have counted as a goal there. Spurs, again, not really great at getting the first ball. As Dragoshin plays a big crossfield ball there towards Werner. How's your touch, Timo? And it's decent. Keeps it on and then plays a dangerous ball back to Udogie, but it does find him. So Udogie finds Bissouma, who turns nicely. And there was a run there, but instead he goes out wide to Johnson. That's a beautiful ball from Bissouma. And Johnson now can front up Robinson for the first time in a while. Plays the ball inside to Porro, who's free here. Good chance at the byline here from Spurs. Oh, and unfortunately, that's a corner. That is a corner. So, worryingly though, Pedro Porro has gone down. But Porro it was who got to the byline. Tries to cut it back. He's holding his groin here, Porro. I hope he's okay. Pedro Porro is a player who tends to go down quite a lot, quite regularly. Johnson played a really good ball inside. It was a good run from Porro. And what happens is he slips. Oh, yes. This could be bad for Spurs, actually, because Porro slips here and his legs go in the splits. Hopefully, it's more of a shock. Corner taken quickly from Spurs, and they go for a deep... Oh, good header from Dragoshin at the back post, tipped over the bar. Huge header from Dragoshin. And well tipped over. That's good to see, because if we can get it towards Dragoshin from set pieces, he is a handful. I would love to see him score a header from a set piece, Radu Dragoshin. It's Emil Smith-Rowe marking him, which you'd think would give him the chance. In swinging corner onto Leno's head, and he's cleared it easily. Comes to the edge of the box. Headed back from Porro. He's limping a little bit too doggy. He might have to go all the way back to Forster here, and he does. And Iwobi is putting the press on Forster, so he might have to go mid-range ball here, and he does. And Tottenham have got no one all the way up there, so Fulham clear it relatively easily and keep the ball in their back line now. Comes back to Bassi. He's going to have to play this long, and he does. He dinks it up to the halfway line. Dragoshin wins that easily. Now, who can win the second ball for Spurs? It's Sarr. Tries to flick it on to Maddison, but Fulham win the second ball, and they're in down the their right-hand side here. And Tete's made a big run, but Udogie should be able to get there first, and he does, and gets it back to Forster. Well played. And Udogie is on again, but Forster goes to Bissouma and misses it, and this is a big chance for Fulham here. They're in down the right with Jimenez. Well blocked by Ben Davies again. Forster made the wrong pass there. He doesn't have to go for the hardest ball there. He can just give it back to Udogie. It's another corner for Fulham. Another important block from Ben Davies there got us out of trouble. And Lukic again with the outswinger. Don't forget, they made a chance from one of these early in the game. Jimenez at the near post. The next one, they went deep and won the first header again. So hopefully Spurs can try and win the first header this time. Here comes the outswinger. It's deep again. This one was flicked ahead of the Fulham player by a Spurs man. I didn't see who it was. It comes out to Robinson. It's pressed by Udogie, and Fulham having to come all the way back onto the halfway line and back to Bernd Leno. A good press from Timo Werner there. Leno easily finds his man out wide, though, with Robinson, who goes over the top. And this is in behind Udogie. It's Calvin Bassey in down the line, and Udogie's in a good position this time. Bassey trying to turn Udogie. Don't foul him here, Destiny. And he's helped out by Pape Matsar, who wins it and does well. And gives it inside to Yves Bissouma. Well done, Pape, there. Now give it easy to Yves. And he gives a lovely ball through to Madders, who finds Johnson. I think Madders could have maybe held that a second there, but gives it back to Madders, who plays a ball into Udogie, who finds Bissouma. Iwobi pressing him. Comes out to Sarr. He's looking for a big diag towards Timo Werner. Not enough on it, though, and it's easily headed back to the keeper. Poor decision from Pape Matsar, having just played an important role a minute or so before. 41 minutes gone. There'll be a couple of minutes added time, I would have thought, for that Calvin Bassey injury. Been a couple of little stop-start moments. But so far, 0-0. And you'd say a draw, probably a fair result at the moment. It's quite a close game, this one. As Fulham play the ball down the line, and they play it really well. And again, Dragishin is miles out of position. And Bissouma, you've got to work here, Bissouma. Bissouma not working hard enough here, and they're in down the right here. Iwobi with a chance. He's hit the bar, and I think maybe there Fraser Forster tipped it onto the bar, you know. Huge save from Forster, poor from Dragishin, and poor from Bissouma. I think Forster tips that, and it's given as a throw to... Another example there where Spurs just looking a bit leggy in midfield, not able to get bodies back when they needed it. And Fulham very simply opened it out to Iwobi, who was in the inside right channel, kind of side foots it, gets enough on it where it goes high. It really looked like it was going top corner, but I think Fraser Forster got a little touch on it and it hits the bar and goes out. As Bissouma finds Sarr, who tries to find Maddison, but intercepted by Diop. And Johnson doesn't challenge for the resulting second ball, and Spurs win it too easily. And Sarr tries to take out Emil Smith-Rowe and the ball there, and he doesn't. And Sonny actually is running back to try and help with the transition there because Sarr was out of play, and we force Fulham back to the halfway line again. I have to say at this point, everyone, let me know what you think in the comments, but I do not feel confident that Tottenham are going to win this game. Fulham are far too comfortable, and Spurs' injuries and legginess really affecting them. They're in down the left now, Fulham again. Forced to come back to Berger. Reece Nelson's having the freedom of the park at the moment. And Smith-Rowe finds... Oh, just dinks it away for himself. Dinks it back. Dragishin does okay. Chance at the back stick. Oh, my God. Spurs have stopped. And that's a handball. That was a handball by Fulham. Oh, and a chance at the back post. And it's Werner who has to clear it. Real goalmouth scramble. And Fulham still in a good position here. And in the end, Udogie has to get it out for a corner. Fulham asking so many questions. The corner's taken quickly by Fulham this time. Oh, Smith-Rowe just dinking away from Spurs players. But this time, Dragusin gets on the ball and chips one over towards Sonny. How's your pace, Sonny? Held up. I'll tell you what, Sonny's got a chance here to find Werner. And Werner's in down the left one-on-one. He's taking too much time. He's got to go on the outs. Takes too much time. What are you doing? And then he dives on the floor. Oh, and he's won the free kick. Werner went inside when he had to go on the outside onto his left because Fulham had got all their bodies back on the inside. And I have to say, I thought it was the wrong decision, but he dived on the floor, and I think the ref has been mugged there. It's not a foul there. It's really not a foul. It's just his body in the way. Werner is lucky. Spurs are lucky, but this is a big chance, and one for Maddison, 20 yards out. What a huge moment this could be for Spurs if Madders can do what he did against Villa. For here, on a wet day like this, what I want from James Maddison is to get a shot on target. Make the keeper make a save. Maybe it'll come back out for a rebound. Don't hit it over the bar. That's what I'm saying. It's so close. It's about 20 yards out. It's just on the left edge. It's almost like the perfect kind of area. Maybe, yeah, the co-commentator's saying maybe a fraction too close. But if he can dink it over the wall like he did against Villa, it'll be hard for Leno. But it's a big old wall, this. I'd be tempted to go keeper's side, see if he can make him potentially, make a save and it come out for a Spurs player. But stay on side, Spurs players here. Here comes Maddison. The wall just sneaking forward a little bit. Here we go. Oh, he's gone under! He went under the wall and it hit the post. It's deflected. There's a little flick from the wall. So Madders did everything right, didn't he? That would have been brilliant. He went under the wall. They didn't have the draft excluder, which is very rare these days. And it hits the post. 3 added minutes. Here comes the corner. Easily cleared by Fulham. Sonny's going to have to be clever with this ball. Oh, what a ball from Sonny if Madders is still onside, but he's not. Oh, Madders. So all the Fulham boys jumped in that wall and he went under it and it just glanced off one of their toes and wide. Bernd Leno was absolutely beaten. He was static. Please do give this video a like, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Chris's channel if you're not already. A couple of minutes left of this half. Fulham clear it, and it drops to Reece Nelson. And they do well here to get it wide left. Fulham are going to have one more chance in this half. Down the left with Smith Rowe now. And Robinson getting outside him as ever. And a chance for an early cross. Just too easy. And it's another corner for Fulham. Spurs did get the body in the way there, but too easy getting in down the left every time. It was Pape Matar who got in the way. This will be the last chance of the half, and Fulham will be keen to get this on the top of Fraser Forster's head, you would have thought. Tottenham 0, Fulham 0. 20 seconds of this half to go of the 3 added minutes. They've got some big men in the box here. They're swinging it in. Goes to the near post. Porro clears it. And I'm buffering a little bit. Okay, it's come back. Porro clears it. Comes out to the edge of the box here. They're going to have a dig. No, they lay it across all the way. And chip it out back wide left where they've got 2 players now. And a chance for an early cross for Iwobi. But the ref blows up for half time. Okay, Tottenham 0, Fulham 0. Wow, a lot going on though, considering it was a 0-0 game, guys. Once again, just before I kind of talk about what happened in that first half, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do give this video a like or repost. Just share it wherever you can. Let's get this game watched, this watch-along watched by as many Tottenham Hotspur fans as possible. Please do give this video a like if you are on YouTube and subscribe to Chris Cowlin's channel. And if you like me doing this watch along and you want to see my daily content, go to youtube.com/@BarnabySlater_. to subscribe to my channel. Chris will be back after my post-match reaction show later at 4:30 p.m. with another episode of his Spurs Chat podcast. Tonight, it is with Craig Dearman, Daily Mirror sports journalist Ollie Gamp, and sports editor Dustin Lau. So make sure you keep on this channel for all the Tottenham Hotspur content today. I'm going to take you through what happened in that first half, tell you my thoughts, and then also get into the comments. So if you'd like to ask any questions, please get those into the comments during this halftime. We'll have a little chat. But difficult game for Spurs, and I guess you wouldn't be surprised, would you, for it to be difficult based on a few things. Firstly, that Tottenham have struggled all season with Sunday games after Europa League games. Secondly, because we have about 6 first-team players out. Obviously, there's the goalkeeper, there's the 2 centre-halves, there's Rodrigo Bentancur, Deki Kulusevski is on the bench, and Dominic Solanke, not available today because he is ill. So Tottenham are struggling a little bit out there. They're playing more of a counter-attacking transition game. They're still popping the ball about, but Fulham are really energetic, really up for this. And as a result, have made quite a few chances. And I'd have to say, Fraser Forster has come to our rescue a number of times. But anyway, in the first minute of this game, Tottenham should have been 1-0 ahead as Fulham playing the ball between their centre-halves, trying to get the ball out, play it right across their own goal. Timo Werner intercepts it, finds Son Heung-min with a first-time ball, and Sonny just gets the ball slightly stuck under his feet. There is a defender getting back towards him. He has a shot, goes for the bottom left-hand corner as he sees it, and Bernd Leno gets his foot on it. Tottenham should have been 1-0 up after 1 minute. After that, Fulham really started coming into the game, though. In the 5th minute, Yves Bissouma gave a dangerous foul outside the box on the right-hand side of Tottenham's back 4. It was a dangerous free kick, and Porro got his head on that free kick, headed it out for one of many, I'd say probably 7, maybe 6 or 7 corners that Fulham have had in that first half. In the 10th minute, Ben Davies made the first of about 4 incredibly important interceptions that he's made in this half. He has been my man of the match so far in this game. Fulham would have been through, and it happened twice in a minute, actually. Davies intercepted 2 very, very dangerous through balls that on the transition would have put Fulham in down the right-hand side. Really important play from the Welsh professional. What a player he is, Ben Davies. We are, to all intents and purposes, from everything I hear in the last week or two, we are going to take advantage of the 1-year option we have on his contract, and he will be at Tottenham again next season. Considering how many times this season he's not even been in the match day squad, he's doing incredibly well at centre-half for Spurs. From one of those resulting corners in the 11th minute, Raul Jimenez ran across the front of Tottenham's defensive line and got a header in that went over the bar. Then in the 16th minute, some not for the first time in this game, some sketchy refereeing, I'd say. The referee is trying to let a lot of fouls go in this game. He's trying to play on a lot, play the advantage, and that should be appreciated. However, you don't play on when then the team who have had the free kick that should be given for them are further behind than they would be otherwise. And that's what happened. Spurs should have had a free kick, and he plays play on, and Bissouma is then under pressure just outside his own 18-yard box from Fulham players. He gives the ball away. And as a result, Fulham are in. A huge chance to Jimenez running at Forster, and Forster's comes out with his big old frame, does well at his feet, and stops a certain goal. Then in the 18th minute, another chance for Sonny as Fulham tried to play a pass back to Leno. Didn't get enough on it. And what Sonny needs to do is he's running from it's a little tight angle, but if he can get just one of those dinks over the keeper, like he did Burnley away last season, if you remember, at the beginning of last season, if he could have just got one of those dinks in, it would have gone over Leno and into the goal, but he tries to take it around Leno. And as a result, Leno was easily able to get the ball. The 20th minute was when Davies made the next huge block. That was after a goalmouth scramble after a corner. And actually, his block was so good, Davies, that he kicked it off, I think, Jimenez. And it should have been a goal kick to Spurs. But again, the referee gave the wrong decision there. In the 23rd minute, that's when Spurs really started, I think, for the first time, getting a little bit of control of the game. There was some good football from Tottenham. The ball dropped to Porro on the half volley in that inside right channel, just outside the box. He got his laces on it, skids across the turf, just gets a little deflection off a Fulham player and goes out for a corner. In the 26th minute, Spurs putting some more pressure on and some important defending from Tete at the back post as Pedro Porro played in a beautiful cross all the way across the back line, and Werner just running in at the back post, and it would have been a free header for Werner, who potentially, I would say, because he wouldn't have had to think about it too much, could have maybe headed it back the way it came and maybe scored, but Tete just got a toe on the end of that cross absolutely vital from him. I've just written here, 32nd minute, there was a bit of poor hold-up play from Sonny where the ball came into his feet. And I have to say that the ball has bounced off Sonny a few times, 3, 4, 5 times this game. And look, it's just to show that we really are missing Dominic Solanke. His hold-up play is absolutely elite. And Sonny, he's missed a couple of chances and he hasn't held up the ball well. And he's not having his best game so far. But I hope that when potentially, maybe after 60 minutes, more space appears in this game, maybe Sonny will get a bit more space to do what he does. Maybe he'll get a one-on-one or two. Then I've written 35th minute, unbelievable save from Fraser Forster. And this was when they a ball came back for Fulham to play a deep cross. And what Tottenham do, and they did it time after time against Roma. They do it every game, but you really saw it against Roma because it's why Roma had 3 goals disallowed. The defenders, when a ball is going to be played through, they are told and they are taught and they are coached, you stop exactly on your 18-yard line. That is your reference point. And this time, for the first time I've seen this whole season, Ben Davies was 2 yards deeper than his 18-yard line. And as a result, Jimenez made the run from the deep cross and had a free header. And he gets a great header on it. And it's a brilliant save from Fraser Forster. Flicks it and it goes wide. Then in the 37th minute, a bit of a worrying moment as Pedro Porro gets to the byline. It was some good play, cuts it back, and it goes out for a corner. But as he goes to kind of get the rebound, Porro slips on the wet turf and does the splits. And it looked like he was holding his groin there. So really hoping we haven't got another injured player not coming back from halftime. Then in 38th minute, from an attacking set piece, an attacking corner, it comes all the way to the back post. In fact, we took the corner short, and then from the first touch after the short corner, the ball is delivered deep, and Dragusin is left one-on-one with his defender, gets a brilliant header on it, and it's unfortunately a little too central and tipped over from Bernd Leno, but a great header. Then in the 39th minute, probably the only mistake from Fraser Forster this game, he played a bad ball a bad ball into his central midfielder. It wasn't the right ball. If I remember rightly, Udogie was free on his left and had a lot more time and space. It came in, I think, maybe into Basuma or Sarr, and we lost the ball as a result. And another huge block from Ben Davies got us out of trouble, getting a block on a shot. Then another huge save from Forster on the 41st minute. Dragusin was out of position. Basuma didn't work hard enough on the transition, and Iwobi was free on the inside right channel. Gets a little placed shot, but at pace, and a big hand comes up from Forster, just gets a little tickle on it, and it hits the bar. And then the final kind of play of the half, 44th minute, Werner won a free kick on the edge of the box. I have to say, questionable that it was a free kick. He was kind of one-on-one on the left-hand side, should have gone on the outside and had a shot with his left foot, but instead cuts inside and runs into a Fulham player. I personally didn't think it was a free kick, but we got one. And then from the free kick, James Maddison, 20 yards out, sees that Fulham haven't put the draft excluder player there, haven't put the player there to block the low one, and the wall all jump, and he goes underneath it. And just a little touch from one of those Fulham players in the wall enables it to hit the outside of the post rather than the inside of the post. And as a result, I've got to stop the scoreboard there, I've just realized. As a result, it hit the outside of the post rather than going on the inside of the post because Bernd Leno was absolutely prone. There was absolutely no way he was going to save that. And Spurs could have gone in 1-0 up, but didn't. So I'm going to get into the comments, guys. Like I said, please do send in your comments throughout this game. I'm going to be doing an instant match reaction show after the game as well, where I'll take you through everything that happened in the game and I'll get in the comments. But also we'll be interviewing some Spurs fans from all around the world. This to me, I've said this quite a lot this season, but this to me feels like a huge game for Tottenham. If Tottenham can get a win here from a game where we're not in the ascendancy, where we're playing not great, if we can get a win and really find some momentum from that Manchester City victory, it would be huge for the rest of our season. Huge going into the December. We've got, I think, 8 more games in December, 7 or 8 more games. It would be absolutely massive. So it's going to be a huge second half. Joe Cafiero, thank you for writing him. He says, this shows the work that Decky and Solanke do off the ball. We're missing that work rate. Listen, Joe, I think that is a hugely important point. Kulusevski, who's got, as Sonny discussed this week, said he doesn't think he even has lungs. That's how hard he works. He never stops, and that's right. Forward and back, we really miss Decky Kulusevski on the ball. Well done, Joe Cafiero. Really good point. Sean says, Porro and Brennan Johnson scare me when defending the left. I don't think Johnson is working hard enough to help out Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro being left 2-on-1 at times down the left, and they're getting in constantly down the left-hand side. Jack Legros says, Maddison too deep, wasted. Ravin Raju says, Kulu may have to come in with Johnson subbed. Well, be interesting to see, won't it? Because, of course, Pedro Porro looked like he might have picked up something there. I think he will want to bring Kulusevski on, assuming that Kulusevski isn't injured. He will want to bring him on, certainly, at the latest around 60th minute, you would have thought. And Johnson does look a little bit leggy. TSOM says that was one hell of a save by Forster to tip it onto the bar. He's made some massive saves in the last 2 games, Fraser Forster. And listen, I think a fair few of us were very nervous. But in terms of his shot stopping, he's really surprised me. He's really stepped up. Tuan Vo, thank you for writing in, says a goal has to come from one of the midfielders, I feel. Yeah, maybe. Do you remember that time halfway through the half? And I didn't mention it actually just then, and maybe I should have. Pape Marassar made a deep run from midfield and he wasn't picked up, and Basuma tried to chip it through to him, and that was a good opportunity. It was just a bit ahead of him and skidded off the turf, went off for a goal kick. But Fulham are not chasing their runners. And if you think about their midfield, where they've got Nelson, they've got Emil Smith-Rowe, and they've got Iwobi in the 3 behind the front man, that is not a midfield that is desperate to cover deep runs, I'd say. So maybe that is something. Maybe there, Twanvo, you're absolutely right with that point. Martin H says we're lucky not to be behind. Sean says maybe put Timo in the 9. I'm not sure about that, Sean. I don't think he's going to hold it up any better than Sonny realistically. Let's see, what else have we got? Lane Onto says, please Tottenham, it's a must win. Yeah, listen, we all want it, don't we? We all want it to happen big time. But this is a very, very difficult game so far for Tottenham Hotspur. That is for sure. What else have we got in here? See if I've got any other. Stu Miller says, our home fans are only noisy when things are going our way. A bit embarrassing, to be honest. I mean, Stu, listen, I don't disagree with you in a way. But what I would say is I think that's pretty much the case with most fans at different grounds, certainly fans of the top 6 teams. It is difficult to try and get them to get really properly behind the team as a whole stadium, especially in the kind of modern football era where ticket prices are so expensive. So you do get a lot of tourists there. You do get a lot of people in the ground who, aren't kind of die-hard Spurs fans. You'd have to say that. Sean says Levy doesn't care about crowd noise. Well, I wouldn't go that far either, because Levy did purposely design a stadium where the acoustics are excellent. So, it's a little bit of a difficult one. And I see why you're writing that, because Chris Cowlin has written from the ground. He says it's very quiet inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium today. Well, as I said, one of those ones, isn't it, where I think the fans are needing the team to kind of really show them something to get behind, and the team would say we need the fans to be the 12th man. So going to be an interesting second half. Easty _football. Thank you for writing in. Says Radu is possibly the worst ball player centre-back ever. He's terrible. I think he's done okay today, to be honest, Easty. He had that one where he tried to play it along the line to Brennan Johnson. It went out. But that's going to happen. Even the best ball players from centre-back do that. I think he's been okay so far. Stu Miller says Solanke and Kulu have left a big quality and work rate gap. Well, yeah. Spurs are now out on the pitch for the second half. Fulham just coming into the tunnel now. Ravin says subs on in the 60th minute. I would have thought so. Easty says Porro is getting beaten every time. There's a big concern. Again, gets no help from Johnson. Yeah, I've kind of talked about that. TSOM says Timo can't play at 9. He couldn't hit a barn door. He's playing well on left, though. Yeah, I think Werner's doing okay. Just before the first half starts, guys, once again, please do give this video a like. Please do get your comments in. We'll go through them in the post-match reaction show. And also do subscribe to Chris's channel if you're not already a subscriber. Also, please do subscribe to my channel at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube for daily Tottenham content. And as we get close to the transfer window, transfer videos as well. And stay online here on Chris's channel until 4:30, where he will have his regulars, Craig Dearman, Daily Mirror sports journalist Ollie Gamp, and sports editor Dustin Lau on the Spurs Chat podcast to go through everything that has happened in the game. And of course, I will be doing a post-match reaction show straight after this game. But most importantly, if you're at the stadium somehow listening to this, get behind the boys. And wherever you are, let's get behind the boys. This could be a huge half for Tottenham Hotspur season. We need to find some consistency. We need to find a way to win these games. We have a very kind of mix and match team out because of so many injuries. It's not going to be easy, but if we could do it, what a Sunday night this would be. And let's all just get our fingers crossed and hope that we can make this happen in this second half. Fulham are going to kick this one off, and they do so. as we are playing now. Got a little bit of buffering on my screen. What a way to start the second half, but here we are. We're in with the second half as Radu Dragusin plays it into central midfield with Pedro Porro, just plays it back to Dragusin, and it comes all the way back to Forster. Just give it easy here to drag Forster, and he does that. Sarr comes for him to Dragusin. He has to play it back to Forster again, and Ben Davies gets the first-time ball on the left-hand side. Now, he needs a bit of an option, but he goes long and over the top here. I don't mind that, into Werner, and it finds Werner. Beautiful ball from Davies. Werner tries to turn Tete there. Tete has the pace for Werner, I think. So I wouldn't be trying to kind of turn him when you haven't got the momentum there, Timo. But it's good to see some positivity from Werner, though. Don't have a problem with that, but that wasn't quite the right move that time. Fulham with the throw-in in their right-back position. Tete with it. He's had a good game so far, Tete. Throws it up, and it goes over all the way back to Ben Davies, who plays it back to Radu Dragusin. Gives it back to Davies on the left now. That was a beautiful ball from Davies, that first one. He's gone for a little dink over the top now as well, and Pape Matsar's made an important run there, but he's easily muscled off the ball by Calvin Bassey, and Pape Matsar gives away the free kick. I think Sarr there just showing a little bit of naivety there. He made a great run and just needed to control it on his chest away from Bassey. Bassey just shouldered him off the ball pretty simply. And as a result, it's a free kick to Fulham.
Leno
goes long. Ben Davies up for the first one. He loses it out to Raul Jimenez, but Udogie helps him. He finds it to finds Bissouma. And it came to Maddison, but he's just beaten by a Fulham player. So throw into Spurs on the left. Relatively slow and steady start to the second half as Udogie finds Maddison, and they try and play a ball into the front man, but Sonny had come deep, and now Leno has the ball again and goes long. Fulham not afraid to go long with their goal kicks, and anytime the ball is with Leno. I thought the ball went out there, but the linesman disagreed, and Spurs won the ball back, but have quickly lost it, and Berger now was able to get Fulham in down the left, where they caused a lot of their trouble in the first half. And Robinson's made a secondary run towards the byline. Dragusin's gone with him. He's been dragged out of position now here. And Fulham, if they're clever, will try and get a cross in, but they don't. And that enables Dragusin to get back towards his central position. It comes back with Berger there, and Spurs have bodies behind the ball now as Fulham bring it across to the right-hand side. Werner presses the ball. Udogie in behind him. Oh, and they found it. They've played some good stuff in down the right now. I think Fulham looked offside there, but that's really frustrating for me because it was Lukic who was offside there as far as I'm concerned. And the linesman didn't give it because they're asked not to give the first offside in case it's a goal. But now it goes off for a corner. And as a result, Tottenham are under pressure. That's where I just don't like that new rule about linesmen not putting their flag up early doors. A little bit of sun in my eyes there from the window. I'll change that. It's going to be an out-swinging corner from Lukic again. And it beats the first Spurs man, and Davies again has to get ahead on it and get it outside. And Raul finds him. Fulham easily in down the left here. Good chance for a cross here. Oh no, he's driving at Bissouma instead. Comes back, and they're going to try and dink this in. Oh, and a good block there from Pape Matar. But Fulham in down the left again. It's too easy. And the cross comes to the back post. Big chance, Fulham. Big save at the near post from Fraser Forster. Free header at the back post, as there always is against Spurs. It's an important save from Forster. Deary me, Spurs. Too many crosses easily coming in. And again, Fulham just playing it very, very comfortably around from this corner. And they're in down the right now. And it's going to be a chance for another cross to come. No, it finds the byline. They're at the byline. Fulham cuts it back and over the bar. Deary me, Spurs. I'm just going to put the blind down. Oh, that was another good chance for Fulham there. And he hits it over the bar. And Spurs are just being penned back at the moment. We play it early. Basuma into Pape Madassar. And the fans trying to get behind the team. Dragishin's tried a big diag there and it's been cut out easily. Terrible ball. And Fulham again coming forward. Sonny looks leggy. Johnson looks leggy. Spurs haven't really come out this half. Fulham with loads of space in central midfield with Lukic, and they're going to be easy find it out to the right-hand side here. And they do so. Tete now. Iwobi tries the ball inside, but Sarr cuts it out easily. And he needs an easy option here. And he plays a bad ball there, Sarr. And it's easily cut out. We shouldn't be trying those paradise balls. And they're in down the left now, once again, with Reece Nelson, who controls it with his back. He's taking the piss out of Spurs here. And he finds it easy. Beautiful play from Nelson. And chance at the back, Stoke from Iwobi. Another save for Forster. Honestly, Tottenham playing so badly at the moment. Deary me, Tottenham Hotspur. It was a big, important right-handed save as Iwobi tried an acrobatic shot with his back to goal. And Spurs have lost the ball already. They've just not come out this half. They've stopped. Deary me. Fulham just popping this about. Tottenham look absolutely spent. Smith Rowe now driving. Finds again the Anthony Robinson on the left. And it's cleared by Ben Davis. Hits the Ben. It's a good clearance from Ben Davis. At the moment, it is only time until Fulham will open the scoring in this game. Tottenham just look absolutely spent and the crowd are quiet. There's nothing in this for Spurs at the moment. I mean, this is just a classic example of this season, isn't it? You win 4-0 at Manchester City. Next game out, leggy, letting a team in mid-table dominate the game. Fulham just all over us the first 7 minutes of this game. Bassey now. Remember the game at home last season where we pressed Bassey so he made mistake after mistake? None of that today as Robinson drives at us. He's going to find Nelson on the left again. Who's going to try and get a cross in, is he? No, he turns away. And he finds Smith Rowe, who's at the byline now. Dinks it to the back stick. Another chance for Fulham. Just dinked, headed into Forster's arms. And will Spurs have the ball when the replay has stopped? We do. Maddison in central midfield. And he tries a ball. It's a good ball into Porro. No, it's not a good ball. Easily cut out by Robinson. Terrible pass from Maddison. And in keeping with how Spurs have been this second half. And they're in at the back post here, Fulham. And it's an important cutout from Yves Bissouma. Vital. They would have been totally through on goal there. Maddison on the transition finds Son. And Pedro Porro is... No, it's Brennan Johnson now. Fronting up Calvin Bassey, but he has to go backwards because Spurs have no men forward, which will really upset Big Ange Postecoglou. Maddison then finds Werner on the left-hand side. Udogie runs outside him. It's a big chance. Goal, Brennan Johnson! Timo Werner has just played an unbelievable cross. And that is thoroughly undeserved, but frankly, who cares? Spurs got in down the left, and as far as I can tell, Timo Werner just played an unbelievable dink to the back post where Brennan Johnson comes in. Let's have a look at it on this replay. Sonny plays it across to Maddison, who plays it into Werner. Udogie runs outside him, and Werner, what a ball. And Johnson just buries it from 6 yards out on the volley. All the credit has to go to Timo Werner for that. And I have to say, just thoroughly undeserved from the way that Tottenham have started this second half. But who cares? Huge goal for Spurs. And now Fulham, who have already been getting men forward and already been dominating the play, they're going to need to push even more. And all I can hope is that this gives Tottenham a little spring in their step that they haven't had in the first half so far. Oh, lovely flick from Bissouma, by the way. And it shouldn't be forgotten, actually. Bissouma had blocked a chance, hadn't he? He'd intercepted a huge interception just before that, and that's what led to that goal. A massive moment. Absolutely massive moment for Spurs, for Bissouma, for everyone, and of course for Timo Werner. Dragishin now has the ball, finds Fraser Forster. Ben Davies giving him an option on the left. Forster happy to go there. 55 minutes gone. Madders has stepped off Ben Davies there. Madders finds a lovely ball into Bissouma, who takes a good first touch. Good football down the left here from Spurs. Could be in down the left here. The referee has called up a foul when we would have been in down the left. Horrible refereeing there. He's booking the Fulham player, but he should be embarrassed, this referee. He should be embarrassed. Spurs were in down the left. That's the first time all game he doesn't play on. Really annoying. Really frustrating. Anyway, Fulham now down the left again. Running down the left, and this time Reece Nelson runs it out of play. Tottenham were properly in down the left there. The ref had carried on what he's been doing the whole game and played play on. He could have called it back for the booking after whatever happened next. Very poor refereeing from Spurs. And such a tight game where, you know, Spurs, frankly, are not playing well. That is really disappointing. Oh, beautiful from Porro down the right. And Maddison. And it's off for a Spurs throw. Tottenham 1, Fulham 0. 57 minutes gone. Maddison gets the throw in from Porro and finds it all the way across to Ben Davies, who finds Udogie on the left driving. He gets to Werner. Udogie's going to carry on his run. Werner cuts inside this time. Finds Sarr, who they're looking for offside. Not given. Finds Udogie. It wasn't necessarily the right ball, I think, there from Werner. But Spurs still have the ball on the left. Sarr finds Udogie again, Werner again. He flicks it into... it was a poor ball from Werner, but Fulham have given it straight back to Pedro Porro, who goes back to Davies, who's going to find Sarr. Dragishin's free for him, and it's coming across to the right-hand side here. As ever, guys, please do like this video. Please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin. Oh, tell you what, Brendan Johnson, just a bit dangerous there. Please do subscribe to Chris Cowlin's YouTube channel if you haven't already, and stick around for my match review after this game and the Spurs Chat podcast at 4:30 with Chris Cowlin. The Spurs try and play it through, but Fulham get it back to Leno, who goes long with his clearance. It's a good clearance, actually, and finds its way to Nelson, but a huge, important header from Pedro Porro gets it back to Dragishin. Just go backwards, Dradu, and he does. He gives it to Ben Davies. You might have to go all the way back to Forster here, and he does. And also, guys, if you like what you hear from me and you want to hear my and watch my daily Spurs content and transfer content, you can find... Oh, Ibasuma's just played a horrible ball. Sonny has got his body behind the line. Porro has to come back, and Fulham, thankfully, didn't transition quickly there. Porro with a lazy ball there. I was just going to say, if you like the sound of what I'm talking about to do with Spurs, please do subscribe me at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. Anyway, Fulham in down the left again. Oh, and this time Dragishin shows a bit of weight to Reece Nelson. And Dragishin just in his own corner here, struggling a bit, and gets the flick. And actually Porro brings it out and does well. Sarr finds Bissouma, who finds Forster, who's going to have to give it early to Ben Davies here. Does so to beat Raul Jimenez's press. Beautiful play from Spurs down the left. And Udogie, he's on his own, but he's in down the left. Driving at Fulham. Trying to outpace Diop, is it? He finds Sonny well inside. Oh, Sonny is absolutely hacked down in central midfield, but Maddison has the ball and finds Porro. You can find Johnson. It's a bit behind him. Good stuff. Porro in on the left, but he puts on the right, but Johnson puts too much on his pass. He has to bring the ball back. The referee there for a yellow card for a Fulham player who absolutely took out James Maddison in the middle of that move, but beautiful football from Spurs. It was Son who was taken out, sorry. Good tackle in midfield from Basuma. It's given as a foul. Why is he not booking that player for the foul on Son? It was such a booking. It better not have been the player who'd already been booked. Fulham down the right now. Little trick, tries to get ahead of Basuma, who gets pushed over. And it's a good foul to win in his own box there from Basuma. They're not showing a replay there of what happened. So Luke, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievably fucking appalling refereeing. Lukic, who's already been booked, goes through Heung-min Son, two-footed. Unbelievable. What is the ref doing? And because he's played play on, he hasn't gone back and booked him. And now they've taken Lukic off because he was the one who was booked. Unbelievable. If Tottenham don't win this game, that will be a huge turning point in this match. A huge turning point. That is, I'm sorry, that is championship level refereeing at best. An absolute horror show from the referee there. He did the right thing to play on, but then when the goal is not scored, he has to bring it back and send off the player for a second booking. It's absolutely clear. Really appalling. Oh. Buffering now, so I haven't got any. Fulham have the ball. 61 minutes gone. Premier League games turn on mistakes like that. Really, Fulham, like Marco Silva's taken the player off straight away because he knew and because he knows that he was liable to get sent off again. What's he doing diving in like that? And Son, I'm afraid, as captain, has to scream. He has to do everything to get the man sent off. As Robinson, again, takes on Porro down the left-hand side for Spurs and easily does it. And now Iwobi, who's swapped over, is in down the left. Porro struggling to get back. Iwobi's going to cut onto his right and try and play across, I would have thought. He doesn't this time. Again, sticks with the ball, brings it back to Robinson. Robinson, again, against Spurs, has had a good game. I've said this a few times down the years. People disagree with me, but I think he's a good fullback. And now Fulham found Smith Rowe in the middle. And it comes to the right-hand side, and Tete's making an outside run. And Werner's trying to pick him up. It's in at the back post, huge chance, and no one's come out to Iwobi. And the ref hasn't given a handball, and they're calling for it. And Fulham have a shot over the bar from Robinson. I'm sorry, but the way that Tottenham don't defend their back post, it just creates a chance for Spurs, for Fulham every single time, and every team that we play against. Why do we not defend the back post? And we don't defend crosses well enough at source to not make it easy for teams to find the back post man. Oh, beautiful ball from Ben Davis. Unfortunately, a bad touch from Maddison would have been in down the left there, and Fulham pick it up again in midfield. They brought Tom Kearney on now. He's a bit of a quarterback, plays the number 10. He's coming to get the ball off their centre-backs every time. 63 minutes gone. Fulham, as per usual in this second half, have control of the ball most of the time as Maddison tries to put the press on Kearney. Comes back to Bassi. Leno now has the ball. He plays it across to past a leggy-looking Son. And they play it easily across again to the right. And they've gone for the long ball this time, in behind Ben Davis, clears it well. But they picked up the second ball here, Fulham, and it's a good ball out to Jimenez. And they're in at the back post again with Iwobi. The cross nearly came over from Jimenez. A huge block from Dragusin. Iwobi just must be like, oh, I'll get a chance at some point. And they tried to get the cross in. Oh, and Dragusin, yeah, that's a foul on Dragusin. Didn't know that Jimenez was behind him. Spurs about to make a substitution. And I'm just writing here, 64th minute. Fulham always have a man free at the back post, and this will hurt us. You've got to think this is going to hurt us at some point. It's hurt us this season so far. It's hurt us all last season. And if we allow crosses, if we allow space, for the crosses to come in so easily, there will be goals scored at the back post. Anyway, free kick Forster. He's going to go long this time for the first time this game. And Deki Kulusevski is going to come on. It'd be interesting to see who for. I wonder if he might play as the false 9 and Sonny come off, 65 minutes gone. Leno chips it over. Anthony Robinson. Spurs put a good press on here. Comes to Pape Matsar. Can he find a good ball? And he does. Gives it into Johnson, who finds Dragusin well. Gives it into Bissouma, who's under pressure. Just find something easy here, Biss. Finds Porro, just about keeps it on. And finds a good ball into Sarr, who crosses it all the way across back to Ben Davis. He's going to look to find Timo Werner, but it's the first ball, bad ball from Ben Davis there. And it's cut out easily by Tete. And Fulham now have bodies in central midfield. Spurs getting men back. Sonny's got to keep working. Ben Davis wins the ball there. But I thought he might have been fouled when winning the ball, but it comes back to Fulham. And now Spurs have the men behind the ball again. Kearney. Yeah, finds it out wide now to Robinson. And Iwobi's made a good run and nobody's gone with him. And Dragusin's out of position here. Flicked up. Big header from Maddison helping out on the edge of the box there. Comes to Tete. Don't foul him there, Madders. He put the pressure on enough. Now Fulham have to come backwards again. All second half, Fulham just having this game. They put a cross in over to the back post. Once again, Robinson completely free. Plays the early ball into Iwobi. He's at the byline. Cuts it back. Big shot for Kearney. Goal. Amazing strike. And it came from the ball coming over to the back post and nobody being anywhere near and stopping the easy cutback. Cutback comes to the 18-yard line, finishes it into the middle right corner. And you can't say they haven't deserved it. I literally wrote 2 minutes previously, we never defend the back post. So there we go. It comes into Robinson, easily finds, Robinson was free at the back post, easily finds Iwobi, lays it back to the 18-yard line. Nobody stopping Kearney on the shot. First time, great finish. And I fear Tottenham's chance to win this game has gone. I told you just a couple of minutes ago, didn't I? Tom Kearney, good player, plays as the quarterback, real footballer. Brilliant finish on his left foot. It was just before Kulusevski was going to come on. So let's see who's going off for Spurs. Fulham loving that. So it looks to me like Kulusevski is playing in the false 9. It's Werner who's come off. Yeah, I thought Werner played well. Son on the left now. Deki in the false 9. Be interesting to see how this game changes now. 68 minutes gone, 22 minutes to go. You can't say Fulham haven't deserved that. They really have. Dragusin plays a big diag towards Sonny. It's a good one this time. And Sonny running at Tete. Maddison's made him a little run and he finds him at the byline. Comes all the way across the box, but easily cleared. Maddison just tried to really whack it across the box. Easily cleared by Bassi out for a throw-in for Spurs. Throw-in to Tottenham. Udogie with it. No one giving him an option yet. Sonny does now. Comes back to Udogie. Tries to find a little ball. Spurs win another throw-in. Very frustrating that we found a way ahead in this game and then just easily giving away those chances. So never defending the back post, letting them get to the byline very easily over and over again in this game. Udogie throws it up to Kulusevski. Maddison takes it on, but it's well defended. Signed with Berger this time. Fulham try and play the ball out. Across their back line this time with Calvin Bassi. He plays a good ball out wide to Robinson. And Fulham are playing some good stuff in here down the left. Iwobi comes back this time with Berger. And Maddison now putting the press on the keeper. Spurs have only had 12 touches in the opposition box. That's so unlike Spurs this season. And the ball has gone long into central midfield and Spurs have not won the second ball. And Iwobi's going to be in. They've got 3 men over on the left-hand side here. And very fortunately for Spurs, Robinson takes a bad touch and Pedro Porro is able to clear it out for a throw-in. And Porro does not look comfortable at all. He's limping. Fulham take the throw-in quickly, sorry. Berger now. And Spurs, again, just not playing Ange ball. today. They don't have the legs for it. An easy ball through the lines. And Fulham in on the right again. And this time, Udogie blocks a run that blocks a ball where a run had been made by Wilson towards the byline. Who else have Tottenham got on the bench who can really change this game? Not a lot, to say the least. 2 school kids decimated by injuries at the moment, but can we find a way to win this game? Or maybe, just as importantly, not lose this game. Tottenham have only drawn 1 Premier League game this season. Inevitably, we either win or lose. And again, just so easily. The press is half-baked today from Spurs, so Fulham able to play it around us so easily. And I have to say, Fulham looking like they have so much more energy in the tank than Tottenham, as Iwobi plays a big long-range diagonal. And Smith Rowe has made a secondary run, but Ben Davies has seen it out and plays a good ball into Son, who plays a bit of a dangerous ball to Bissouma, gets away from the Fulham man. What's he seen there? Good ball into Decky. Needs to hold it up, and that's another foul. I have to say, I want to bring it back to that refereeing. 56th minute, the appalling refereeing where he should have sent off Lucic for a second booking. He doesn't, and therefore Fulham are able to take him off, substitute him, and the substitute who comes on scores the goal. Absolutely shocking. Spurs get a cross in here, but it's buffered, so I'm going backwards. Sonny gets a cross in. Oh, it's a good cross, actually, in the end. Came to the back post, but it's cleared in the end, just about by the Fulham player. 71 minutes gone. Pedro Porro with a throw-in on the right-hand side here. What can Tottenham do here? Very difficult game for Spurs here, having to play in a different way against a team who have all of the legs, all of the energy, and are making all of the running. They go down the line here. Bissouma with a good header. Sarr under pressure, needs to find an easy pass. Does so to Ben Davies, who finds Dragusin on the right. Finds Sarr inside him, who draws his man. Dragusin finds Porro this time. Wants to go down the line. Flick down the line. It nearly went off, but didn't. But Kearney sweeps it up. And it's very easy for Fulham to just get out each time. Berger plays a ball into Jimenez, is it? No, I don't think so. Fulham all over us here. Oh, and Iwobi's beating us down the left. And a huge tackle from Sarr. Lets the ball get away from him a bit. Finds Maddison. Spurs on a bit of a transition here. Maddison looks for Kulusevski, who turns his man well. Robinson tried to nick in front of him. Kulusevski's down the right here. Robinson is back in play, though, and a poor touch from Decky, who wins a corner. That is a corner. Well done, Spurs. And huge tackle and interception from Pape Matar there, because Fulham were in. Because Iwobi had beaten 2 men. Kulusevski with just a bit of a dodgy touch before that. He was trying to cut inside. And Robinson does enough to find a corner. Come on, Spurs. Let's try and find Dragusin here. Let's try and score a goal from a set piece. We don't score them. We just don't. And this is one of those games where it would be perfect to try and find a way to do it. Maddison looks like he wants to take the short corner. No, he's calling Porro away. He's going to take an outswinger here. Here it comes. Doesn't beat the first man and falls straight to a Fulham player, and they're in down the right here. Fulham have got 4 men running forward. He could have played it early, but Wilson had run offside, and they cut it back and keep hold of the ball. But now they might go for the big dive because they really want to get the ball at Kearney's feet. And they are doing that. They find their way to the right touchline, as they have done. Right and left. They've pulled Spurs ragged, right and left touchlines all game today. They've really played well, Fulham, you have to say. Spurs press Fulham all the way back to Leno, who dinks it into central midfield. Iwobi tries to hold it up past Dragusin, but Dragusin did really well there. Gives it into Porro. He's looking for an option ahead of him, but finds Maddison behind him. Sarr is in the forward line, weirdly. And Maddison finds him nicely. Just dropped off a little bit. Bad first touch from Sarr. Otherwise, if he could have taken it on the half turn, we'd have been in good space there. Udogie drives nicely into a little space that he's found. Oh, and then plays a terrible ball, but it gets to Maddison somehow. And that's a foul on Maddison just outside the box again. It's going to be another chance for a free kick for Madders. or Porro? It's a foul. The COCOM saying that he bought the tackle. I completely disagree. That was a foul. And Porro is holding the ball this time. You've got to think that Fulham will go for the draft excluder this time, the player on the floor to block the low one after the way Maddison went last time. It's very similar distance, but it's from the other side. Porro and Maddison arguing a little bit, and Porro there saying, you had the first one. In games like this, free kicks, set pieces are absolutely huge, and Porro's handed it over to Maddison. I'm kind of surprised at that because you've seen Porro have good efforts from this angle because it's on the right-hand side this time, whereas the previous free kick at the end of the first half was on the left-hand side on the angle. This one is at very similar distance on the right-hand side. And so far, once again, Fulham have not gone for the draft excluder, but maybe this time he'll try and dink it over the wall knowing that they won't jump because he hit the low one last time. If you remember against Aston Villa, what he did was the referee blew his whistle and Harry Wilson is the draft excluder. What happened against Villa is he blew his whistle, the ref, and Maddison took it really quickly and Martinez wasn't ready. So I wonder if he might try this against Leno. No, the whistle's gone. A lot of movement in the wall. What's Madders doing? He's changing his mind, I think, Madders here. Here he comes. It's deflected off the wall and over the bar. Yeah, it was probably too close to dink that over the bar. He should have maybe gone. They've taken the corner quickly. Chance on the edge of the box. Oh, and it was Maddison. Kulusevski found him on the edge of the box in a very similar position to where the goal was scored from Fulham by Kearney. Madders tries to whip into the top left-hand corner. It goes over the bar. So they're bringing Jimenez off, and the player who absolutely tore us a new one at Craven Cottage last season, the striker from Brazil, is coming on. It is stressful being a Spurs fan. 77 minutes gone now. Muniz is coming on for Jimenez, for Fulham. And that'll give them some more legs up front. Spurs, last couple of minutes, made a couple of chances there. What can we do? Come on, this is a huge last 10 minutes. Leno goes long with his goal kick. Breaks into central midfield. Beautiful ball played out wide to Iwobi, who fouls Pedro Porro, and then kicks the ball away to stop the quick taking of the free kick. But of course, no yellow card from the referee because he is an embarrassing referee. Honestly, the worst refereeing performance I've seen here. Like, maybe he's trying to let the game go, but where you've got to send a man off for two obvious bookable offences and you don't, and then they equalise, just embarrassing. Udogie down the left here, tackled by the Fulham player. Tete, once again, he's had a good game. Udogie has worked hard throughout, takes the throw in to Madders, who turns beautifully and finds the ball to Sarr, who gets away from Iwobi, and he'll be looking to find Kulusevski or Johnson. He finds Johnson, who plays another bad ball into Sarr. Goes off the pitch, and Johnson's played a couple of those, and he's looked knackered all game, Johnson. He did score an important goal, though. Of course he did. So, listen, you've got to be in the right place, in the right time to score those goals. But just some of the easy things and some of his defensive running has been found a little bit wanting today. Another goal kick for Fulham. Bernd Leno with it. And he goes long again. It's central midfield. Dragoshin up against the new striker for that, and Dragoshin wins it. Madders tries to turn it, but then a bad ball from Sarr enables Fulham to play the first time ball into Iwobi, but Dragoshin gets across. Important interception from Dragoshin. Plays it down the line. Easily picked off by Kearney, though, and now Dragoshin's out of position. Fulham are in the box here. Don't foul him. Don't foul him. He's going to try and... Comes all the way across the box, Muniz there, and Fulham are in down the right-hand side now. And Davis, the ball comes in from the byline, cut across, and Davis once again clears the ball out for a Fulham throw-in. Spurs under a bit of pressure here. Oh, and they've given the throw-in to Spurs, madly. Madders under pressure here. He's been fouled from behind. But the ref has not given it, and therefore Fulham are in again on the right-hand side. Popping it about. Okay, Spurs have... Oh, they blocked across there, but look, they're in down the left here, and they just... Oh, and Johnson manages to get ahead on that, and Kulusevski is going to use his strength, hopefully. It does really well, Kulusevski on the right with Johnson, and Johnson's gone with him, and he finds Johnson. There's no one at the back stick, though. Sonny has got to work. He's not going to get there. And then Johnson tries a back heel, which is bizarre. Oh! We lost the ball, and now Fulham are on the transition. No need to back heel it there. Just keep the ball. Oh, some decision-making from Spurs has been poor today. Johnson especially. But like I said, he did score that goal. As Sarr presses really well in midfield, Kearney. And another foul in central midfield from Fulham. It has to be a yellow card. Fucking hell. This referee, man, he does book him, but... Spurs were in again. Sarr did really well to press him. Kenny's throwing his arms up, but you stopped a definite attack from Spurs. 81 minutes gone. So frustrating, this referee. Yeah, VAR's looking at this because Kearney's caught him on the back of his knee. That's a red card. Yeah, this is a red card. And if this doesn't get given, then this is absolutely shocking. This is a foul that injures people, and the ref is being called to the screen. Thank fuck for that. Fulham got away with one before, and they shouldn't get away with this. Absolutely disgraceful. It's Kearney who scored the goal, who shouldn't have been on the pitch because Lucic should have been sent off for 2 bookable offences. No, show him the other angle. Show him the other angle. You've got to show him the angle from behind. It's fucking nearly knee high. That is the angle where it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Here we go. The ref's made his decision. He's coming back. He's going. It's a red card. No yellow card. Red card, Kearney. Good. Now, this will be interesting because I hate to sound negative, but it would not surprise me if Fulham still make chances here. They still make chances because Spurs are going to go for it. But that should have been a red card that Fulham had half an hour before. I'm sorry, but that referee, I said it at the time, if Spurs don't go on to win this game, it's the referee's fault. And the referee didn't even give that as a red card when he splices him down the back of his knee. Tried to just give him a booking. This referee is a child. Like, honestly, like under 10 level refereeing. Anyway, there'll be a couple of more minutes added on for that kind of 2 or 3 minutes for the VAR there. Now, Fulham down to 10 men. As a Spurs fan, what's happening here? Fulham's team all going over to the sideline. What the fuck is going on? You're not allowed to do that. Ref just lets it happen. Bergwall has come on for Spurs. Bergwall on for Madders. Gray on for Sarr for some legs. Is there a chance here for someone like Lucas Bergwall or Archie Gray to make themselves an absolute hero, ingrain themselves into the culture of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club by scoring a winner in a massively difficult game? Leno is sat on the ground. Is he pretending to be injured? Madders looks unhappy to be taken off. I'm not surprised. Why are Fulham allowed to suddenly have an absolute mother's meeting on the sidelines because they've had a man sent off? The man should be sent off and Tottenham Hotspur should be allowed to play it at their own pace and make it difficult. They're all around silver still. It's lasted... The sending off was 4 minutes ago. The game has ground to a halt, as the co-commentator has said, and that will suit Fulham because they're now able to get all their players on, honestly. And they brought Sessegnon on. You know what the script that is. The fans getting behind the team now. But it's, you know, he's got to add on at least 9 minutes now of VAR, of added time. Honestly, embarrassing refereeing. This is as angry as I've got this season, just at this absolute under 10 refereeing of this game. So Fulham have gone to a back five. They're absolutely just looking to see this out. Spurs have got to use the fans here and just pop the ball about and make chances. They've got to find a way to make chances. Bergvall comes short for Dragusin, who finds Bissouma. He gets it out wide now to Johnson. Back to Bissouma. And this will suit Fulham just to have it all in front of them. We've got to find a way to get in behind. That's it. Davis finds it out wide to Sonny. Gray gets outside him. Gray finds Bissouma. Bergvall's outside him. He finds him. Bergvall gets it out wide now to Johnson. But it's all coming backwards because Fulham have so many bodies. They've got 10 men just behind the ball now. Ben Davis goes early to Sonny now. Castagna is on for one of the many subs made by Fulham. Straight after a red card. Stupid. Dragusin plays it out wide. Difficult. Porro does beautifully there. And then Porro and Johnson find a way to lose it. And Fulham now racing forward with Robinson, as they have done all game. Finds Iwobi, or Bassi it might be. Flicks it forward. And I have to say, Muniz left one-on-one with Dragusin there. And I'm not sure Dragusin should have allowed him to get the ball. But Bergvall works really hard and gets it back to Forster. Well done, Lucas Bergvall. Forster has a free pass on out to Udogie now on the left. And he finds him well. Udogie getting forward. Gives it to Son. But it's behind him. And a bad touch from Sonny. And he has to go back to Ben Davis. Tottenham have not got good experience this season of beating teams who have got all their men behind the ball. Porro now on the right. Tries to find it inside, but comes to Johnson, who gets an early cross in, but there's no one at the back stick. That's where Sonny is supposed to be. And it comes out for a throw-in. Here comes the throw from Porro. Bergvall's right there. Needs to get away from him. Come on. It's our time. Right. Bissouma gives it back to Porro. Finds Johnson. It comes back. Oh, dear. And because Tottenham don't have Solanke or Richarlison, we can't get balls into the box in the air to try and score headers. Udogie out to Sonny out wide. He tries the left-footed cross. It's a good cross. Bergvall's in the middle. Oh, and it's defended well by Bassi at the back post. I love that from Son, getting an early cross in on his left foot. Good attempt. Oh, and Bassi did well, I have to say. Porro with an out-swinging corner here. Kulusevski's near him, but I'd get him in the box. It's a deep corner. Dragusin at the back stick. Oh. Goes wide. And watch how much time burnt Leno. Oh, and he did everything right there, Dragusin. He tries to get up. He gets up early, wins it, and tries to head it down because that would have caused the keeper lots of trouble. But it's wide. And Leno taking an inordinate amount of time on this goal kick. Deary me. Referee just letting it happen, obviously, and then just Gary owns it up to centre circle. And Archie Gray wins it well into Son. Needs to find a player, and Spurs win it back and get it across to their back line now. Dragusin. Porro's free. Put it in front of him, Drag. Come on. Porro's now got the ball. Driving a little bit into the Fulham half. Not blessed with options, but chips it forward in towards Son, who can't get it down. That's disappointing. Nice effort, though, from Spurs. Nice trying something a bit different, trying to get in behind. Oh, bad touch as it comes up to Sessegnon from Porro. It comes across to Fulham's backline. They have to go long here, and they do. Porro up against Sessegnon again. Sessegnon does well, but Ben Davies does really well to win a header there, and Porro does well and gets fouled. And that's a yellow card, but the ref doesn't give it as he flicks it away from him again. 7 added minutes from the ref. Should be more, I think, but there you go. I'll take it. As we come with a doggy now into the 91st minute. Doggy slips and gives the ball away. And Fulham are now on the transition, and it's 3-on-4. And he's driving at Ben Davies, and he's got the pace to outdo Ben Davies. Huge chance for Fulham. Huge clearance from Radu Dragusin under his own bar. Oh, my God. And it was Harry Wilson who ran the length of the pitch. And he beat Forster. I don't know if it was going in, but it was right under his own bar, Dragusin, and he did well. And Fulham have a corner, and they're going to take their time over it, and they will probably make a chance from it. It's going to be an in-swinger. Oh, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Here it comes. It should be Forster's, and it is, and he's claimed it. Now, is there an option? He goes with a quick, long kick. Kulusevski is one-on-one here, but the defender's going to get there first and hikes it out for a throw-in. That was good stuff from Forster there. And Spurs have taken it early. I'll tell you what, we've got to be a bit careful, though, because along the left-hand side there, Udogie slips, tries to play it back, I think, to Davies. And that's how Wilson was just in one-on-one all the way along the pitch. Anyway, Udogie has it now. Bergvall's an option. Bissouma has it. Give it to Bergvall. Does so. Come on, Lucas. Okay, Kulusevski now taking up. He's not in that false 9 position, but that means we've got no one in the box. But he beats his man, Decky, there, and he can find it across. It goes between Sonny and Udogie, but Udogie runs outside Son. Cuts it back. Keeper claims it well. He got to the byline there, Udogie, and he dinks it back in the air. And you've got to give credit to Bernd Leno there, who I nearly called Jay Leno, who comes to claim it when Johnson and Bergvall were coming to. That he needs to kind of dink that over the back post. And Leno goes with the long kick from his feet. Easily won by Fulham. Muniz has done well, really well. But Davies does well to find Bissouma, who does well to find Archie Gray, who wins a good foul there. On the left-hand side, he's limping a bit there, Archie Gray, but he doesn't want to stay down because he knows it's Tottenham's time. Can Spurs make a good chance here somehow? Bissouma now in central midfield, plays it across. Bit of a heavy ball to Dragusin, but he plays it first time now to Porro. And I'm buffering again. Terrible timing for that. 93 minutes gone. Fulham have headed it out. We've got a throw in on the right-hand side. Diop with a header out there. Backs to the wall from Fulham, but Spurs have to find a way in these kind of games. Bergvall to Porro. He finds Johnson. He plays a terrible pass back, but Johnson gets it back to Bergvall. Turns again to Porro. It's very tight here on the right-hand side. Bergvall plays it inside, and there's more space now inside. Archie Gray, who is definitely limping. He's been injured for sure. He's just a body now. Sonny. Archie Gray being brave here, but there's not a lot going on as Kulusevski's trying to do it on his own outside the box. Plays it to Son. It's so tight. It wasn't Son, sorry. It was Udogie. Bissouma now. Udogie on the left. Can you use your right foot to get across? And he can't. Bissouma finds Son again. Is there a chance for a cross from Son? He looks to go to the byline. He gets to the byline. Dinks it to the back post, but it's the same. Easily just plucked out of the air by Leno, who just dives on it. If you're going to cut it back from that byline there, both Sonny and Udogie, they have to get enough on it so it goes over the top of Leno. And they're going to bring Will Lancashire on, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was for Archie Gray, because Archie Gray looks like he's picked up an injury as Leno goes with the long kick again, trying to find Muniz. He's going to win the first ball with Ben Davies. And the second ball. Too easy. Oh, and Muniz is now in. He's not in. He has to turn away. Robinson, well covered from Lucas Bergvall there now. And Brennan and Porro finds Kulusevski down the right. But Spurs don't have anybody in the box at the moment. Kulusevski's completely on his own. He's got to try and win something. And he can't. He loses the ball and Fulham have to clear. But can we get the second ball here? Bissouma does well. Oh, it's hit his hand. The ref's given it, which he didn't give a handball against Fulham earlier. Obviously, this ref has been, honestly, I think, absolutely disgraceful. Archie Gray has to go off. Will Lancashire comes on. 2 minutes left. Archie Gray's got a kick there. Hopefully it's just a knock, but 2 minutes to go of the 7 added. And with Fulham having a free kick in their own half that they're going to go long with, can Tottenham find a way to make another chance here? Or will we be hit with the ultimate sucker punch? Oh, and Porro's just let the ball fly over him and Fulham have it. But Dragusin's done brilliantly there. Now find an easy pass. He does so into Johnson, who finds Deki Kulusevski, and Spurs driving. Could have gone inside there, Kulusevski, and he doesn't. And we've lost the ball in midfield. That was so poor from Spurs. And Porro has to block the run down the line from Wilson. Kulusevski has got to find his man inside him in central midfield there. Didn't even lift his head up. Really poor. And it's basically also tackled by Wilson's arm. Don't forget, Spurs have Bournemouth away on Thursday. All these injuries. Solanke ill. Fulham kick it out for throw. And we're into the last minute of the game. And we're in the right back position as Porro finds Bissouma. And Porro finds it inside to Ben Davis. Now, can we open up the game? We do, with Udogie down the left. He's got Son outside him. He needs to run Son down the line. Comes inside, finds Bissouma. Coming across now to the right-hand side with Pedro Porro. Kulusevski a bit deeper now because Lancashire's up front. An early cross from Porro is easily cleared, and the second ball easily cleared as well by Fulham. 20 seconds left. Dragusin leaves it to Bissouma, who plays a ball inside the line to Porro. Goes to Johnson. We're in the last 10 seconds, guys, so don't muck about with it. Yeah, Porro tries a bad ball there. And Fulham can clear. And that, you'd think, will be that. That's the end of the game. And the Spurs fans boo, but I have to say, I don't think if they're booing, I think it should be for the referee. I have to say, if the Spurs fans are booing, it should, for me, be for the referee and for nobody else, because the referee, from the decision that he made to not send off Lucic for 2 shocking bookable offences in that second half, he gave Fulham the chance to equalise after we scored the first goal. And as a result, Tottenham Hotspur have not won a game there. And now I'm not suggesting that Tottenham deserved to win that game, because I don't think they do. And I will say, I think Fulham deserved to get at least a draw out of that game. But so frustrating. I cannot tell you how frustrating it is that Tottenham have not won that game, where I think it's down to the referee. I really do. Absolutely shocking stuff. But this is my instant match reaction to the Tottenham Hotspur 1, Fulham 1 game. And as I've talked about kind of in the at the end of the watch along that I just did on Chris Cowlin's channel, just a very, very frustrating football match. But I'm not sure that we could really expect much different, considering 6 first-team players not starting that game. And Deki Kulusevski only on the bench, kind of rested. Solanke ill, and Fulham not having played in the week. We know from this season so far, we know it, that Tottenham have really struggled when it's come to playing on Sundays after playing on Thursdays, and they looked leggy. They looked leggy throughout this game. They looked second to most first and second balls. We didn't have hardly any touches in the opposition box, which is really what Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou are all about. And really, when we scored the goal, and it was a good goal by Brennan Johnson, I'll go into it, it was not deserved. That goal was not deserved as far as Tottenham were concerned. And then Tottenham had the ascendancy in the game. And that is when, and I'll talk about this even more, but when the referee, who I thought was appalling all game, and I'm not one usually to get on the backs of referees, but the referee came into this game with the feeling of, I'm going to let everything I possibly can go. And that affected Spurs negatively so many times. There was a time in the first half where he let a bit of play on when Bissouma was under pressure from Fulham's press just outside his own box. He gave the ball away and Fulham should have scored. We're very lucky that Ben Davis defended incredibly well, which he did all game, by the way, and I'd say he was my man of the match. but we were incredibly lucky in that instance that we didn't concede a goal. And then in the second half, he does exactly the same thing. Lukic has just been booked. He slides in 2-footed on Son, takes Sonny out, and because Spurs have the ball, he plays play on. Fine. Play on. See if Spurs score. Spurs didn't score. Bring it back for what is the most obvious booking that I have ever seen on a Premier League football pitch. At that point, with Spurs 1-0 up, Fulham should have been down to 10 men, if that's how I remember it rightly. But either way, even if it was still 0-0, Fulham should have been down to 10 men, and we'd have had 30 minutes to score against 10 men. In the end, when Kearney goes knee-high to the back of the Spurs player's knee and eventually gets sent off, I think it is Kulusevski, we're left with only, 7 minutes added time to play with against 10 men. And Fulham found it pretty easy. And Spurs don't have Richarlison fit, don't have Solanke fit, so couldn't put balls into the box in the air, really. Leno was finding it very easy to claim any cutbacks. And just an incredibly frustrating end to the game. And I'm putting it all on the referee. I'm sorry, I am. I think Spurs, like I said, there was some boos at the end there at the stadium, but I think most of them will be to the referee because, Tottenham put in a shift, having played Thursday, Fulham having a free week, with at least six players who would have played in that game out. Tottenham put in a shift, and you've got to give credit where credit's due. It wasn't a great performance by Spurs by any means. It was lackluster at times. It was one-dimensional at times. A lot of fans have been calling this season for Spurs to be a bit more pragmatic, sit back and play on the break. Well, today we did play on the break, and we could easily have lost that game, but we could easily have won that game. However, just always very frustrating to not win a home game, and once again, just frankly, not be able to build up any element of momentum after such a huge victory, 4-0 at the Etihad. Then we play at home to Roma, 2-2, and at home to Fulham, 1-1. And what we really needed was, 3 wins on the bounce to get everyone talking about Spurs again. But I think the realities of when you're playing in the Europa League in the group stages, you're playing Thursday, Sunday every week. And we've seen down the years, many, many teams, including Spurs, all the way back to the UEFA Cup games, it's very difficult to make that happen. And we really struggled with it today. And as a result, we didn't win that game. In terms of the match action, we should have been 1-0 up after 1 minute of the game. Fulham were trying to play it across their back line, played a bad pass. Timo Werner played a good ball into Son Heung-min, who didn't quite get the ball out of his feet, tries to hit it across, burnt Leno, and Leno makes a decent save, but Sonny didn't get enough on it. And I think that's because his first touch wasn't great. And maybe that's just because it was the first minute of the game. Into the 5th minute, Basuma gave away a dangerous foul outside the box. Dangerous free kick comes in and Porro does well to head it over the bar. 10th minute was the first of what I thought was an absolutely spectacularly good performance from Ben Davies. He was my man of the match by a country mile. Made a huge interception in the 10th minute where Fulham would have been through. And then a minute later did exactly the same, intercepting another attack. And he did that time and time again. In the 16th minute is where I've made the first note of terrible refereeing, which was where he played that play on when Spurs had a foul conceded against them, or committed against them, sorry. And Basuma's under pressure just outside his own box, and suddenly Fulham win the ball back. And in the end, it leads to a huge chance for Jimenez, where Forster has to save it at his feet. Just shocking refereeing started then. In the 18th minute, Spurs could have scored. A pass back from Fulham goes back to Leno, but actually Sonny gets in there first. And if he could have just dinked it over the keeper, that would have been Tottenham 1-0 up. But Leno read it pretty easily in the end. 20th minute, another huge block from Davis after there's a goalmouth scramble from a corner. 23rd minute, good football from Spurs. And actually, it was around the 23rd minute where Tottenham started getting control of the ball in that first half a little bit and controlling the game. Really good football from Spurs. The ball dropped to Porro on the half volley on the inside right position, just outside the box. He hits it with his laces across goal, gets a little deflection for a corner. Meanwhile, 26th minute, good defending from Teti at the back stick, stopped Timo Werner from having a header on goal, where I think he would have scored there. I know a lot of people, Werner's not a great finisher, but it would have been something he wouldn't have had to think about that much. Just a header, kind of getting it on target would have been very difficult. But Teti at the back post with a very important foot on the ball stopped that and put it out for a corner. Sonny didn't hold the ball up very well all game. It's not his game. We really missed Solanke. I made a note of that in the 32nd minute. That was happening all game. Then the first of some unbelievable saves from Fraser Forster, who is my runner-up for man of the match, I'd have to say. Maybe he's equal man of the match, actually. It was a Raul Jimenez header across from deep came from Wolves, and Spurs who usually defend so well on their 18-yard line. They don't let any of their defenders drop deep past the 18-yard line. But Ben Davies, in his only mistake of the game, really, had dropped 2 yards deep. And therefore, Jimenez was through with a free header from about, I don't know, what are we looking at? Maybe 8 yards out, 10 yards out. Gets a great header on it, goes down to Forster's right, and it's a brilliant save. Tips it wide of the post. Porro looked like he might have picked up an injury. 37th minute, slipped on the soggy ground and did the split, but he did play the rest of the game. We had a corner then. Dragishin got a brilliant header on it, tipped over the bar from Leno. A little bit of a bad pass from Forster in the 39th minute, put us in trouble, but another huge block from Ben Davies, who played a 10 out of 10 game as far as I'm concerned. Another megally huge save from Fraser Forster in the 41st minute. Dragishin got himself out of position, chased the ball. Bissouma didn't work hard enough chasing back the transition, and Iwobi was in on the right. Gets his a side foot, but at pace, in on it, and Forster just tips it onto the bar. That was a huge chance for Fulham to go 1-0 up. Again, in the 43rd minute, they got in too easily, leading to a goalmouth scramble. Poor from Tottenham led to a corner. And then just the last kick of that first half, Spurs could have gone in 1-0 up as we won a free kick on the edge of the box. Werner was in on the left, should arguably have taken on his man down the left-hand side, but cut inside, won a free kick, perhaps pretty luckily. And then Fulham lined up the wall, last kick of the first half, and they didn't get the man there blocking the low shot. They didn't get the draft excluder, and Maddison went for it under the jumping wall, and just a tiny flick off the toe of the Fulham player made it hit the post and go wide. Into the second half, in the 49th minute, there was a free header, and I've written as ever at the back post for Spurs, who just do not defend their back post, and any team who plays Spurs knows that if they can cross it from one side of the box to the other, to the back post, there will be a chance at the back post. And Diop had a header at the back post saved at the near post by Forster in the 49th minute. They got another chance from a cutback very soon after, and the shot just came over the bar. So Fulham, who actually, I'm going to talk about this in more specifics, but Fulham in that first 10-15 minutes of the second half, absolutely dominating Spurs and should have taken the lead. Nelson was kind of taking the piss out Spurs. 51st minute, controlled the ball on the back, loving it at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, having previously played for Arsenal. He played really well, controlled the ball on his back. His cross found Iwobi, who did a spectacular shot, kind of not an overhead kick, but a shot on the turn with his back to goal, and that was saved again by Forster at the front stick. 52nd minute, another chance for Fulham, a header straight into Forster's hands from a corner. But then, against the run of play in the 53rd minute, so before the bad refereeing from the ref, to be fair, I got that a little bit wrong earlier, but from the 53rd minute, Spurs scored their opener. Brennan Johnson, or the opener of the game, an incredible cross from Timo Werner. Tottenham had actually played some beautiful football in central midfield with Bissouma, Son and Madders, it was Sonny and Madders who got the ball out to Timo Werner, who dinks a beautiful cross to the back stick, and Johnson runs in at the back post as he tends to do, volleys it past Leno, no chance for him. And then I want to talk about how just previously to that goal, it all came down to Bissouma because Fulham were in and had a through ball. All he had to do is find the striker, but Bissouma stopped it with a brilliant interception, and that's what led to the attack that Tottenham scored from. Then the 56th minute was when the really embarrassing refereeing happened. Spurs were in down the left, didn't let us play on, and books the Fulham player, but should have let us play on. Then 59th minute, beautiful football from Spurs, nearly in down the right, but it was overhit by Johnson. Amazing play down the left at the similar time. And that's when I've written how in the last minute or so, it was Lucic who should have been sent off for his second booking, and the referee let it go. It was an appalling foul on Sonny, and Lucic just a minute later taken off by Marco Silva so that he doesn't get sent off. And that for me, under 10 refereeing. He was an appalling referee all game, and that was where the game was not won by Spurs. I said it at the time in the watch along. If we don't go on to win that game, that will be the reason why. And then Fulham got a hold of the game again. 62nd minute, they had a shot over the bar from Robinson. 64th minute, I made another note again. Fulham always have a free man at the back post. This will hurt us. And there it was in the 66th minute, just 2 minutes after I wrote that note. Tom Kearney with a beautiful left-footed finish. But how did it come? It came across from a ball to the back post, where then Iwobi was able to get into the byline, cuts it back easily to Iwobi. Cuts it back easily to Kearney. Beautiful finish, to be fair to him. But Kearney had come on, as far as I'm concerned, during the subs that were made when Lucic was taken off. And Lucic was only able to be taken off because he hadn't been sent off. And he should have been sent off. So Tottenham should not have conceded that goal, no matter how good that finish was. Absolutely disgusting. Spurs then started making their subs on the 67th minute. Werner came on for Kulusevski. Son moved out to the left. Kulusevski played in the forced nine. Foul on Maddison on the edge of the box in the 74th minute that he won himself. Iwobi with that foul. He took the free kick himself again after a little bit of a scrap with Porro, but hits the wall and goes over the bar. From the short corner, a shot opportunity for Maddison on the edge of the post, but he hits it over the top of the bar, trying to kind of power it into the far left-hand corner, Harry Kane style. 81st minute is when the red card comes. Another foul in midfield from Fulham, which they were doing all game. Spurs were in potentially with another counter-attack again. He got the booking. Referee doesn't send him off, even though he slices his studs down the back of Deki Kulusevski's calf, almost at knee height downwards. Thankfully, VAR got involved and he's sent off. But it took about 4 or 5 minutes to get it all sorted. Meanwhile, once Spurs are trying to get the game going again, as far as I'm concerned, let me know what you think in the comments. Fulham go over all of their team, go over to Marco Silva to find out what they're supposed to do. The Spurs players are complaining because they're trying to play on. Referee lets it happen. Fulham then make about, 3 or 4 more substitutions. Tottenham end up just being like, well, if that's going to happen, we might as well make some subs ourselves. So Bergvall comes on for Maddison, Gray on for Sarr. Once again, I would say about Ange Postecoglou, he's done this a few times this season. I think when you need a goal in the last 10 minutes of games, don't take Maddison off. Don't take him off. He's one of the players you want on the pitch for that. I'm not saying Bergvall played badly. He didn't. He looked all right. Gray came on for Sarr. Madders looked unhappy to be taken off. But I've written again, disgraceful refereeing for letting all that happen. Tottenham should be allowed, considering there's been a sending off to the opposition, to play quickly, to show full desire, to show 110% pace, desire, energy, effort. But instead, the Fulham players all go to the touchline, crowd around their manager. Just shocking refereeing as far as I'm concerned. Absolutely shocking. Then in the 88th minute, a beautiful cross from Son Heung-min. Took it early, this cross. We had to do it. Surprised the Fulham defence. And it nearly came to Bergvall on the end and the back post. But good defending from Calvin Bassey, who had a good game. From the resulting corner, Dragusin got a header on it, but it was wide. And then in the 7 minutes of added time, Tottenham really didn't do much. Flattered to deceive a little bit. Didn't really get many chances happening. But Fulham, on the break, had one big opportunity as we gave the ball away in midfield. Udogie, if I remember rightly, slipped over and Harry Wilson was able to run basically most of the length of the pitch, get a kind of cross-come shot in, and Dragusin cleared it from under his own bar. And that was pretty much the end of all the chances, guys. And that is the end of my kind of reaction part to the instant match reaction of the game. Tottenham, I'd say, if I'm going to put the ending on it, didn't deserve to win that game, but I think could have won the game had the refereeing been better, and it wasn't. I am going to now talk to some Spurs fans from all around the world, and let's find out. I've been talking for basically 2.5 hours. Let's find out what some other people really made of that game. Are they as frustrated as I am? Is it as depressing as I'm finding it right now? Or should we kind of be happy that we didn't lose that game from basically a first half and a start of the second half where it felt like we really were going to lose that game? So I'm going to bring on, let me just move my screen a little bit. I'm going to bring on Adrian first. Adrian is in Adelaide, Australia. Can you hear me, Adrian? And how are you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Top man, I can hear you in your dulcet Aussie tones, Adrian. What time is it there?
I think it's sort of 3:40 a.m. or something.
Oh, mate, the commitment. And were you getting as wound up in your library, what looks like a library, as I was getting in this room in England?
I was. I have to whisper sometimes because my wife sleeps in the next room, so I've got to kind of, but it's kind of a very aggressive whispering at different times of the game. So particularly with some of the refereeing decisions or the kind of the approach the referee took to the game that you were commenting on.
Do you agree with me then? Because obviously, like, I'm watching it on my own and I'm seeing the comments, but I'm not really getting a full idea of what's going on. But for me, the refereeing from the start was almost like he's made this decision to play this way, and it's made a rod for his own back that he then couldn't get back from.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Having said that, I felt that maybe the toughest one for us was when we had advantage and he called it back for the free kick.
Yeah, when we were in on the left, weren't we?
Yeah, and I thought we really might have taken them on and finished them off with that play because they were very exposed. having said that, I've never been one to blame referees for our results. I think today we played against a very, very good side, a very disciplined side. I thought I thought your comment about our exposure at the back post was right. We just seem to that is a bit of a weakness we have. We seem to not we give the other side lots of latitude on that far side when the ball's coming across, and we don't sort of close that down quickly, and it just leaves us exposed to that fast ball into the middle.
Yeah.
And it happened again today, unfortunately, and I thought they really opened us up on that on our right back side. And
actually, sorry to interrupt, Adrian, but we were being opened up there against Man City time and time again last week. And although, people I think will have forgotten about that because we won 4-0 so comfortably, but the reality is, from my point of view, we've got to be better at stopping crosses from source, and we've got to be better at marking our back post so it's not such a gilt-edged chance each time.
Yeah, look, the other thing for me is that I get this zone defensing, but defense work, but being an Italian, an Australian of Italian migrants, I've grown up in that kind of man-to-man marking that we Italians are just used to doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I find it interesting when players from the opposition side who are attacking seem to have space, and our defenders are kind of more playing a zone marking kind of scenario, and the combination of that with giving the other side latitude out on those wings, it feels like we're just regularly exposed.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, just going into some comments here, and obviously you're Australian, so I'd like to hear your opinion on this. Tottenham definitely at the moment have a very reactive fan base, and when we don't get the result that everybody wants, you start to get the people talking about Ange's future. And I'm just going to call it I'm just going to say L by L. He'll know who he is, as said in the comments. Ange out. My decision is made purely on his signings, game plan, and substitutions. He's a shite manager. Now, I do not feel that way, and I don't think a draw at home to Fulham. And like you said, I think Fulham played very well. I think they benefited from having a free week and more energy than us for sure. But, this is what I think will go down amongst a lot of Spurs fans as a game that we should have won in advance of the game. We should be beating teams like Fulham at home. We did beat them last season. Where are you on Ange and the project, etc., etc.?
Barnaby, I'm all in on Ange. I've followed him since he started coaching. He won a championship in his second season as a coach, and he's won championships everywhere he's gone, just about. I think we need some perspective on today's game. I say tonight because, of course, it's in the middle of the night here, but we need some perspective. So you've got to look at the way we set up. We lost Solanke before the game. Mm-hmm. We were back playing Son as a central striker, which I just don't think is anywhere near our best situation.
Yeah.
We were very much a makeshift side today, I thought.
Agreed.
And then within that, I felt that a couple of our players who have been really strong for us struggled a bit today. I felt like, I think Pedro Porro must have played more minutes than any other player in the side over recent weeks.
Yeah.
And he's doing an enormous amount of running and being involved in attacking plays. And but a lot of that work that he's doing is kind of those crosses from sort of 2/3 up the field on the right that just kind of are not really kind of penetrating the opposition's box.
Yeah.
And then he's having to run back quickly, and we were exposed on the right hand side there. I felt Pape Matar, after absolutely dominating recently, struggled a bit today. That was my assessment of his game. Bissouma, as well as he played in different parts of the game, has sort of, he's given the ball away a little bit, and that's put us under pressure. We've lost Vicario, which is really important to recognise. I thought Forster had a fantastic game today.
Yeah.
But I think that's been a destabilising thing for the team, having Vicario go out injured. I thought we felt that during the week in the Europa League and I think we're going to take a bit of time to sort of. We can't replace Vicario, but his presence on this, he's clearly a leader. I mean, Ange is putting the captain's armband on him when Son and the two vice captains are not there. So he's clearly a dominant personality in that team.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are unsettling for a side. I mean, you think about it, we had a really strong result against Manchester City. You would have hoped that we might have had some momentum coming out of that game. So I think we've got to have, supporters need to have some perspective about what's happened since we beat Manchester City. And I think the loss of Vicario has been significant for on-field leadership.
Yeah.
And coming back to the Maddison point, I think the fact that Ange has taken him off at that crucial part of the game, I think in Maddison's mind would be kind of difficult to take, because one expects the player who's wearing the number 10, one expects the player who's wearing the number 10 in that situation. The other team's gone down to 10 men. It's there to be won. You're in your home, on your home pitch. You want your number 10 to stand up, in effect, win that game for you, to take that decisive moment to either assist or score a goal. But I have to say, watching the game today, I wasn't feeling that. I didn't feel that Maddison was going to do that for us. I felt like he'd tried what he could try, but he didn't have that sort of magic spark that was going to take us over the line. And in the end, I mean, Ange ended up putting Kulusevski on as a number 9, took Werner off, who had played a good game, so that he could put Son back out on the left. And we were stuck with playing Kulusevski as a striker, central striker, which is clearly not his position, not where he's been playing. So I think that was a very, very makeshift lineup today. And it was not something that the manager would have chosen to do. I thought he tried things, hoping they would come off at the end of the game there, in the hope that we would somehow sneak in a goal in that last 10 minutes when we had one extra player.
Yeah.
But we've got to continue to have perspective about this team and about the project. I believe Ange Postecoglou is the manager that's going to take us to the ultimate glory. And I think we need to have some patience. And
I hope you're right, Adrian.
Yeah, managers like Alex Ferguson and others, supporters of that team were wanting him to be out, early in his tenure at Manchester United. Patience is critical.
Adrian, listen, mate, thank you so much for calling in. I've got loads of people to talk to, so I'm going to have to move away from you, but try and get some sleep, mate, and I'll talk to you after another game soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Barnaby. All the best.
Thanks, mate. Thanks a lot, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, just before I bring on the next person to talk to, just a reminder that if you guys at home want to talk to me after one of these games, you can email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com, and Chris will tell you how to get involved. Also, if you haven't already, please do give this video a like on YouTube if you're watching there. Please do subscribe to Chris's channel if you're not already, and subscribe to my channel as well, at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube, for daily Tottenham content from me as well. Also, Chris will be with you in about just over half an hour's time with his usual Spurs chat podcast after the game, but I will continue to go through talking to some of our people from around the world. And next, we're going back to the Czech Republic and Steve. Steve, how are you, mate?
Hi, Barnaby. Yeah, I'm reasonably well. And yourself?
Oh, no, very frustrated, Steve. Very, very frustrated.
Yeah.
What did you make of that game?
Yeah, it was another frustrating game, wasn't it?
Very, very frustrating. I listen, it's a difficult one, as I've said, a few times. I don't think we necessarily deserve to win that game, but I do think that there was a big turning point in that game that meant it became harder for us to win that game, and that was the not sending off of Lucic in the second half. And I agree with Adrian before. Like, I don't like to blame referees either, and I'm not sure we did enough to win the game, but certainly there are times when you're becoming a good team where you need to find ways to win games you're not playing well in. And I think the referee kind of almost didn't allow us to do that today.
Yeah. I was worried about the game before we even started. A bit like Adrian said, a bit of a makeshift team. And I thought, and I commented to some friends before we started, before the game started, that we looked a little bit lightweight, obviously, with the front three. there's obviously with Solanke missing, and then the midfield. I mean, apart from Basuma, there is nobody robust. It's all very lightweight. So if the referee is going to allow people to be not taken out, but to be forced off the ball and bossed and sort of bullied a little bit, and he's going to let it go, then we're going to be on the wrong end of it. And it happened quite a few times, as you mentioned, with that particular player who should have walked earlier.
Yeah, Lucic.
Lucic.
But just to go back to it, I have to say I agree with everything you're saying about the lightweight side, and obviously, I made it about 6 first-team players who weren't playing. Yeah. So at that point, I would agree. And I said it at the beginning of the watch-along. I don't have a lot of positivity to do with this, but that for me is why it's so frustrating that the second booking on Son, he's gone in like with 2 feet. Yeah. And gone absolutely through him, and I don't really know how the referee can defend it. Do you?
No, not at all. I expected, like you say, to go back to that. For him to go, let play on, and then go back to it, and then another booking, and he's off. I didn't quite get that at all. I thought the refereeing was generally poor.
Yeah, I did too. Steve, can you find what positives can you find from this performance, though? Obviously, for me, Ben Davies and Fraser Forster really showing that the old guys have still got it.
Yeah, definitely. I again was pleasantly surprised by Forster and Ben Davies. They both played very, very well. But I also would like to sort of give a pat on the back to Dragusin, who sort of didn't really shine in early games for us, but has done reasonably well. And he did some covering on the far side at one stage in the first half, I think, against the fullback when Porro was sort of out of place, and he managed to keep the ball in and play it upfield, and very unlucky with the first header he had, which Leno touched over the bar. Yeah, if he'd have directed it to another side, it would have been a goal. Because we didn't have any aerial presence, because Solanke wasn't playing up front. It was quite pointless. I was thinking it's quite pointless to play high balls or a ball into the box from a corner or a dead ball situation. Yeah. But in actual fact, Dragusin looked quite dangerous with the first header. The second header, wasn't so well directed. And generally, I thought he had quite a good game.
I agree, Steve. Let me just bring in a comment here from YouTube. Be Good Now 5 says, Fulham had twice the number of shots on target as we did. They deserve to win the game, bar that referee's poor performance. Would you go as far as to say that Fulham deserved to win the game? I think...
No. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, it's good. Talk me through it.
No, I'm saying I don't think they did. I don't think it did to it. Listen, if Son had, like he would do in the past, or maybe in a different situation, or if he wasn't, I think, so tired, he would have clinically put that first chance away in the first minute, and the whole game changes. He buries that particularly easy chance, and he gets another one in about the 17th minute, 15 minutes later or so, when he's sort of going around the keeper, and I think he tries to flick it back to Johnson. I don't know exactly what he's trying to do, but it's sort of not really what he would have done in the past. We could have been 1 or 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes. And as I say, Leno made a particularly good save from Dragusin. There's another goal chance. There's other chances we had. Yeah, they did as well. Now, I think a draw is a fair result. Again, similar to the Roma game, I don't think we deserved to win, although we had chances to put the game to bed.
Okay, Steve, I've actually got a fair few people to speak to, so I'm going to let you go now, but I will speak to you after the next game. And thanks once again for calling all the way from the Czech Republic. Top man.
No problem. Thank you, Barnaby, for having me.
No problem. Thanks, Steve. Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Okay, so next I'm actually going to go to, I think, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where Dylan is.
Hello.
Dylan, can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Worth coming to you, Dylan. How was the stadium today? Chris wrote in earlier and said it was very quiet. Was there a lack of atmosphere there today?
Yeah, a complete lack of atmosphere. It just felt like when our players don't turn up, they don't really play. They don't really fight for the ball. They're not fighting for anything. That's like us fans. We're not up for it either. It's like, do you know what I mean? We react to how the team plays.
And what were your kind of main takeaways from within the stadium as to why Spurs were not able to win that game today?
I feel like we were flat, very, very flat. I mean, we had most of the ball like we do every game as for the past season and a half. But with the ball, we don't really do much. It's like I've noticed a couple times we're trying to get the ball into the box, no one's there. The one time there were people in the box, Johnson was at the back post and scored. But other than that, I felt like when we were desperate for the goal, Son was taking on his man, putting it in the box a couple times, no one was there.
I have to say, Dylan, it's interesting that you say you thought that we had most of the ball, because I thought, compared to most teams that come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Fulham had a lot of the ball today, and I felt like we were playing a little bit more, and maybe because, in my view, because we lacked energy and because we played on Thursday night, I felt we kind of allowed them to come at us more and play a bit more on the transition.
Yeah, but we did, but in possession, in the final third, we just passed the ball around without really creating anything.
True. That's definitely true. And at the final whistle, Dylan, I heard boos. Do you feel like they were towards the team or the referee?
Probably a bit of both. Now, the referee, like with the red card, how he didn't notice that immediately is just mind-boggling.
Did everyone in the crowd? Did everyone in the crowd know that?
Well, I from where I was, I could completely see where it was. I was like, right, I'm not too sure. Looked at the replay on VAR. You can see the referee standing right there. And it's like, how's he not seen that?
Oh, do you mean the red card for Kearney?
Yeah, I think the red card for Kearney. For Lukic, that one, he should have been sent off from what I've seen after, but I didn't really see it properly during the game. Okay. And I think a lot of the crowd did the same.
Okay, and Dylan, just trying to find some positives, trying to be a glass half full kind of person, going to Bournemouth on Thursday night. What positives can you take from today? Obviously, I feel like for me, Fraser Forster now has kind of made me stop worrying about him a little bit. I think he's done pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, that save when Jimenez was through on goal, it was a great save by Forster. There was a couple times he done his job. You can't really ask much more for him. So there's that. I think we have no centre backs. That's just a big thing. It's like if we had Mickey and Romero, then he wouldn't be exposed as much. Fraser Forster.
True. All right, Dylan. Look, there's a bit of a sync problem, and it's quite quiet, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you so much for calling in from the stadium, and hopefully talk to you after another game soon.
Thank you very much.
Top man, cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, guys, just going to go through a couple of comments before I go to our next person. John Tumpkin, he says, great consistency by Spurs in achieving 2 draws in a row. However, few are able to match Petrosian's record of more draws than anything and still being world chess champion for 6 or 7 years. Okay, some good sarcasm there. Sydney Moose says, injuries. Michael Bennett says, lucky I'm on my way home from the lane. We have no creativity, guile, no leaders. We look clueless again. I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. I just think we look leggy. I think we really struggle after those Thursday night games. I really do. Phoenix says, question for everyone. What players should we sign this transfer window? Do answer Phoenix in the comments, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Kev Williams says, hi, Barnaby. I'm annoyed and feel let down watching the team today. They looked like they didn't know what to do. I felt like we got away with a point after how poorly we played. Listen, I don't disagree that we got away with one, but what I would say is, I do think this is kind of in keeping with what Postecoglou has said a lot, which is there are going to be ups and downs. It's going to be difficult. And listen, we can't only blame the injuries, but playing against a team, playing with a team where you've got half of your team or over half of your team out, it does stop there from being any rhythm, basically. So as far as I'm concerned, we've got to, it's hard not to be reactive because, of course, I saw Man United have won today 4-0. Chelsea have won 3-0 against Villa. And they're the teams that are going to be in our wheelhouse. And we're struggling to get any consistency together. But, we did beat Man City 4-0 last week, and we are a good team. We just need everything to be going our way, or a few more things going our way. Okay, I'm next going to speak to Patrick over in Canada. Patrick, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. A bit disappointed from today, to be honest. The first half, I thought it was a bit shocking. Like our pressing was good. I think like Solanke being out kind of caught Son off guard, and he just had to be this makeshift striker. So I don't know if he was just ready to take those one-on-ones. He had 2 clear opportunities. He didn't take advantage of it. I thought Basuma and Sarr were, honestly kind of garbage in the midfield. Like they had these they intercepted well on the press. They had these one-touch passes, but instead of playing forward, we had a lot of players committed forward. They just played it wide, and we slowed down the game, allowed Fulham to restructure. We ended up passing it back and dipsy-doodling around, kind of wasting our opportunities. And then, as time dragged on, the refereeing just kind of started to sink in. You saw that call first half, like Basuma, that was shocking. And then Son getting 2-footed out 56 minute was just garbage. Like
Can I ask you, Patrick, would you have started Kulusevski in the false nine and let Sonny play on the left?
It's hard to say because Kulusevski's so good in transition right now. He's so strong on the ball.
But he started on the bench, so
yeah, I know. I mean, like in order to keep him on the pitch, I probably would, just because we didn't really have a lot of options. Son has, he's delivered either way on the left. We did look so tired. I did think that like bringing Kulusevski on in the after, right away in the second half should have happened because around the 60-minute marker, 65th minute marker, everybody was gassed. We were so out of energy, and then Kulusevski came on, and you just can't expect him to do everything. And then
and he came on just after we conceded as well.
Exactly. Like that's a terrible time to bring him on. That conceding that goal, also for replacing Lukic, I was livid. I started tuning into your show. Right when we conceded, and I just thought it was hysterical. Like the guy that took the Lukic off scores the goal and nothing, no complaints. The stadium just sounded like no one cared. Like I was blown away.
Can I just talk about that bit after Kearney got sent off, when it seemed to me like Tottenham wanted to get started quickly, and the Fulham players all go around the manager. What was that all about? Like, how is the referee? It's like at that point, it feels to me like the Fulham players knew that they could do whatever they wanted with that referee.
It's true. I think it's kind of funny too. Like we've kind of made a name for ourselves for not wanting to time waste and like playing this weird moral high ground. Like Ange does it all the time in our press conferences where he just complains about other teams time wasting and that we'll never do it, blah, blah, blah. And like, that was just a big slap in the face. Yeah.
Are there any positives you can find about today at all? I mean, obviously I've talked earlier about Fraser Forster. I thought Ben Davies had an amazing game. Maybe a positive in that, Kulusevski obviously was rested a little bit, so hopefully he'll be fit and firing for Bournemouth away, which is going to be a very difficult game on Thursday night.
Yeah, just looked at the schedule. Bournemouth away and then Chelsea at home. Wow, that's going to be tough. Three days in between those two games. We're already, stretched like butter scraped over too much bread.
Yeah.
Good positive takeaways. I'm less scared that Fraser Forster's in nets.
Yeah.
Great game today. His close play wasn't good. Like his short passing, he made a few mistakes right from the get-go, and I thought he was a bit shaky, but like huge saves today. I was stoked. Ben Davies, like I'm never worried now if Mickey van der Ven gets injured. That guy is Mr. Reliable for our squad.
Well, I have to say, sorry to interrupt there, mate, but I think when Van der Ven is unfit, I would bring Davies in ahead of Dragishin to keep that balance. I have to say, I'm not going in on Dragishin. I think he is on the right hand side of the centre backs. He's much more comfortable, and his kind of ball playing is improving, and it will take time. But Postecoglou seems to like when Van der Ven's out to play Dragishin ahead of Davies on the left, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I think he needs to be like Romero's replacement, end of story. And maybe he can play on the left side if we have no other options, and Ben Davies has to play as as our fullback on the left. That's the only way I see it.
Patrick, sure. I'm going to ask a very difficult question, but based on, as we come towards Christmas and heading towards almost like the halfway mark, we've probably played 13, 14 games now. So 5 more games or so till the halfway mark. Where do you see this season ending, assuming that Ange will be given the whole season? Where do you think we're going to end up in the league?
Honestly, I was always hoping for Champions League football, but I'd be happy with a domestic cup, and Europa League if we're lucky. It's tough to claw back. I didn't see Chelsea doing this well this year. Like another manager shakeup. Aston Villa dropped off, and I thought that was great for us, but we just can't seem to get results coming our way. Like we lost to Ipswich, we lost to Crystal Palace. Like the inconsistencies are crazy, and we do make signings in the summer, but we always struggle with depth. Like, how do we spend so much money, make so many signings, and then still have depth issues? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, a lot of reality behind from everything I hear. Postecoglou's training regime is pretty hard on muscle injuries, and we certainly seem to be struggling. I mean, I have to say, I think it looks like Archie Gray got an injury there, but that looked to me more like an impact injury. Anyway, listen, Patrick, thanks so much for calling in. Really appreciate it, mate. And let's talk again after another game soon.
Okay. Cheers to my boys on the group chat. Thanks for having me on.
Top man. Cheers, mate. Bye. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of the comments again. We've got about 15 minutes left of this show, guys, and then Chris will be doing his usual Spurs Chat podcast at 4:30 today. And I can tell you that on today's episode of the Spurs Chat podcast with Chris at 4:30 will be Craig Dearman, Daily Mirror sports journalist Ollie Gamp, and sports editor Dustin Lau. Let's go through the comments as well. I'm also looking to try and get some trying to get some quotes from Ange Postecoglou or any of the players, but I can't see any so far. What I have seen on X so far, though, is some of the most respected podcasters that I follow just absolutely bewildered by Ange Postecoglou's substitute. So let's talk a little bit more about that as well. Neil G says in the comments, no higher than 10th and no cups at the end of the season, in my opinion. Listen, I have to say, thanks for writing in, Neil. If Ange comes 10th and doesn't win anything, I think that will be trouble for him. I don't think kind of attacking football will save him in that instance. TSOM says, with half the team missing, that wasn't a disaster. The only thing I'd have done differently is start Lancashire and push Son left, then bring Timo on against tired legs. Yeah, not a bad idea, but I think Lancashire is quite lightweight, and Werner, I think, did well. Let's face it, without Werner, we would not have scored that goal. That was an unbelievable cross from Timo Werner. We've got to give him credit where credit's due. P. Kemelong says, we will end 15th with Ange. Ginola says, I know he didn't play, but Richarlison is an issue. He's never fit, therefore no experience number 9 backup time to sell him. Well, thanks for writing in. I think we did try to sell him. We wanted to sell him in the summer, but in the end, he didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. And he's been unfit ever since, hasn't he? Which, yeah, I agree with you. That has been an absolute nightmare for us. Be Good Now 5 says Dragusin is on the up, and every game he gets, he's going to show what we bought him for. G Moore says it's not PlayStation. These players get fatigue. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. And Sean says Kulu clearly didn't start for his sake, and that's why I was saying earlier. Hopefully, some positive then in that he'll be fit and fresh-legged for the game at Bournemouth on Thursday night. And then, yeah, as our last caller rightly said, we do then, of course, go to. We play Chelsea next, but hopefully the fact that Chelsea will come at us might suit us in that game. But let's go next to Australia again, and Man Cave Dave, looking very much like he's in his man cave. Can you hear me, Dave?
I can hear you, mate. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay, mate. You're all merched up to the nines. How are you feeling, presumably in the middle of the night there after that game?
No, look, it's around 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've got back from Black Friday sales. I'm exhausted watching that, and after work like that as well.
What did it kind of? I don't know what broadcaster you were watching with, but what were the kind of commentators saying about the Spurs' performance there, and also particularly about that refereeing that I do feel like I have to come back to.
Look, in Australia, the commentary we get over here, they're all anti-Spurs. They just bag Spurs out. They've got no good comments for Spurs,
right?
And that's who we get through Optus here. They're fantastic, and it's to feed whoever we get it from. But look, the ref was terrible. But I wish we actually were down 1-0 the first half because Ange likes to come back.
Yeah, although we were down 1-0 and 2-0 in the first half against Ipswich, so that maybe even that's turning around a little bit. Obviously. We had an Australian caller on earlier, and then in the comments while he was on, getting a lot of people kind of accusing Australian fans of just being biased and too supportive of Ange. How are you feeling about the project? I personally, just to say as an English person, I'm also fully behind Ange. I think, he's unlucky constantly with injuries. He's unlucky not being able to get his first team out a lot. And, it's not quite fully happening yet, but I think it can and it will. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, look, the project, I think it's going okay. Look, when he coached in Australia, he was actually quite good when he first started, even as a player in South Melbourne and a coach in South Melbourne. It took him a while actually to win things. So It's a long process. I'm all for Ange, but I'm old school Spurs for 40 odd years, and I'm missing the old days of every pass stuck. And at the moment, it's like it was just terrible to watch. I think I've fallen asleep 20 minutes into it, going, "Here's another loss."
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't. I guess that's a good point, isn't it? One of the things that we're kind of, sticking with on the fact that it's quite a up and down season is that the football is always there. But actually, Fulham, I think just Fulham had so much more energy than we had. It didn't really allow us to play our football. What do you think?
Yeah, we looked very slow and just out of it. Like I feel right now at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's just no energy there, and 1 or 2 passes, and that was it. And they weren't creating anything. I mean, the corners, the commentary were talking about corners.
Hmm.
Can't remember the last time even it seemed like Fulham did us over on corners. I'm actually surprised they didn't score on that many corners. But Ricardo is not in, so we're lucky there that if he was playing, they probably would have scored more Fulham. But look, I'm sort of split between the middle there. Look, I sort of wish we won, but also I think a point is actually the best we're going to get out of a game that we just didn't turn up for. The bus didn't even turn up.
Yeah, and then just before I let you go, Dave, in that last kind of 10 minutes, kind of 15 minutes where we did have an extra man, do you think Spurs did enough or were doing enough to try and make chances? Or was it just like because, and as was discussed by a previous caller, because we had nobody with any kind of physical threat on the bench or on the pitch, we weren't able to kind of really get crosses in and make chances that way. And that made it really easy for Fulham to just get 10 men behind the ball and keep us at arm's length. Yeah,
there was only one player that came on, Cooler, and that was it. And we need at least one more of him, or maybe 2 more of him, to come on and just full on attack it. And they didn't do that. So,
well, Dave, listen, thank you so much for calling in. Do call in again after another game, and we'll talk again then.
Can I quickly say one thing? Hey, everyone in London, they'll be there in April next year. So look out for Man Cave Dave, and send me some messages about my Man Cave and say hello anytime.
Top man. Yeah. Make sure everyone get in touch with Man Cave Dave, and he can tell you all about his man cave. Have a great sleep, Dave. Thanks a lot.
All right. Cheers.
Okay. I'm going to go next to Remy in Norway. Remy, how you doing, mate?
I'm frustrated, Barnaby. Really frustrated from that game.
What went wrong, Remy? What went wrong?
No, it was so strange because we had those 2 big chances in the start of the game, like the first 5-6 minutes or something. And then all the intensity just vaporized. And the intensity in our side didn't get switched on again before like Fulham equalized. Or at least that's how I saw it. And I hear your guests are saying that we looked leggy and that we looked tired. But should we be tired? Like, there are many teams that play 2 games a week, and also teams that also have injuries. So I don't know. Are we training too hard? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm afraid because I've only got about 8 minutes left, I'm going to have to keep all of the rest of the callers relatively short. But could you find Remy like any positives to go forward into this next difficult week with? Is there any way that Tottenham can turn this round from the depths and actually go to Bournemouth and get a win, and then turn Chelsea over at home, and then look like turn this difficult 3 days after Roma and Fulham into an exciting looking December?
I don't know if I can answer just what you asked me now, Barnaby, but I can say, because I knew that you were going to ask for something positive. So on a positive note, we haven't lost in 3 games playing City, Rome, and Fulham, but we are still complaining. So the bar for Tottenham supporters now is much higher than it was like 12, 15 years ago. So there is progress. There is slow progress, but there is progress.
Yeah, I will take that. And I promise you, Remy, when you call in after the next game, I'll give you a lot longer, but we're just struggling for time and I've got a lot more callers this week. But I really appreciate you hanging on and giving me a shout. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Take care, Barnaby.
Okay, and next up, we're going to go to Matthew or Matt. How are you, Matt?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Matt, are you in Germany?
I am in Poland, actually.
Oh, Poland. Okay, Chris Cowland has given me the wrong info. As I said, we only got about 6 minutes left, so I'm going to have to be quite quick with all of you. But just kind of give me your broad strokes after that disappointing result.
Well, I thought the first 15 minutes, I thought we were fine. I thought we were going at them, and I think we were just wasteful again up front with those chances. I mean, that Werner chance, like handing it to Son, I thought he could have done a lot better. And then I think maybe things would have probably changed as the game went on. But yeah,
but as Remy said just then, but then the intensity dropped, didn't it?
It did. Something happened. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but we just seemed to, I don't know, it's like the energy was sapped out of us in one moment. And I thought Maddison was very good today. And what I noticed in the first half is every time he got the ball, he was picking up passes and he was trying to put things through. But I thought our front three kind of let him down a little bit today.
Yeah.
I know Johnson scored and Werner came with the assist, but I thought they were quite disappointed today, especially Son. I expected more from him today.
I thought they both looked pretty tired. I've just thought about this and I haven't said it so far, so I'm just going to say it. What Tottenham really lack, I think, at the moment, and I have said it before previously in videos on my channel, but what Tottenham really lack is someone who can just do something from absolutely nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like a real game changer who can, take the game by the scruff of the neck and and just hit it in the top corner from 30 yards. and it seemed to me like when Madders was at Leicester, that used to happen when he was playing us a fair few times. And I think Kulusevski might become that player, but at the moment we are up and down because we're a team and a squad of players who are growing together, and they're young in the most part, and they're either young in the most part or really old, like Ben Davies and Fraser Forster. And what we need the patience to wait until they kind of really have the self-belief to be like, in a game like this, actually we can do this and we're going to find a way, because we always find a way. And at the moment we don't, so they don't.
No, I mean, I have to give a big shout out to Fraser Forster and Ben Davies. I thought they were absolutely fantastic today. And if it wasn't for them, it might have got a lot worse. But I mean, I'm just a bit puzzled by there doesn't seem to be there's something wrong there, but I can't put my finger on it. Something's just not gelling or something's not clicking. I think the summer transfer window is coming back to bite us a little bit. I think we needed to get, a few more in, possibly another winger as well.
Well, Alderweireld, I guess Alderweireld would be that name, but he's been injured.
Yeah, that could be, that's just bad luck, isn't it, at the end of the day? But I mean, I did expect a lot more from us after the City game. And I think a lot of the fan base's expectations went, quite high after the Man City game.
Yeah.
But I think we've been brought back down to earth.
Yeah, we have a little bit. Matt, I've got to let you go, unfortunately, because I've got two more callers to speak to in the next 3 minutes. But listen, thanks for calling in. We'll have a longer chat next time.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Cheers, mate. Care. Thanks, one. Bye. Okay, and next I'm going to go to Linton in South Africa. Linton, I'm afraid I've only got you for very quickly, but how are you feeling all the way over there?
Disappointed, Barnaby. We again, as you mentioned, we looked very leggy. We were slow in the transitions. We lost a lot of the ball in the transitions.
Can that just be down? Can that just be down to playing Thursday as well, though, or is there more to it?
I think it's part of our inconsistency. I think that's part of it. I think Thursday, but the concern is that the games are coming thick and fast now.
Of course. Yeah.
And we've got all the injuries, and so the situation is, and now there's concern over Pedro Porro as well.
Yeah,
let's hope he's going to be okay.
And Archie Gray.
So we just need a break at this stage. We need something to go our way.
Linton, tell me something that means I can go into Thursday's game against Bournemouth not absolutely dreading it.
Our defense is reasonably solid at this stage. Going forward, we haven't looked good. The defense is kind of holding us together at the moment. Going forward, the only one that really impressed me today was Timo Werner. Surprise, surprise.
Were you surprised he got taken off when he did?
I was, because I do think that he needed some game time, or he could have done with a bit of extra game time. And after scoring that goal a few weeks back and now this assist, I think his confidence has turned around. So I really think that he's a lot more positive, and I do believe that he can contribute going forward. And we'll need it. We'll need every player to contribute. Sonny's looking very disappointing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Unfortunately, Linton, I'm going to have to let you go. But listen, next time we will talk for longer, as we did after the Roma game. Thanks so much for calling in and being so patient. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you, Barnaby. All the best. Take care.
And finally tonight, I'm going to speak to Noel in Ireland. Noel, how are you doing, mate?
Very well, Barnaby.
Noel, what on earth happened today? Tell us.
Oh, well, first of all, I don't think Ben Davies thinks he's very old. He's only 31. So like everybody else said, lack of energy. I think we really missed Solanke today. Solanke has not really, he's not scoring goals, but his build-up play, his bringing people into the game has been exemplary. So I think he was a massive miss. A bit baffled about some of the substitutions. If you're going to play Kulusevski for 40 minutes, why not start him? I would personally start him. He's our best player. And, I think he was badly missed today. A couple of substitutions. I think you said it earlier on. Maddison has been taken off in virtually every game this season. The guy just might score you a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting on Bergvall and Gray, in place of Maddison and Sarr was bizarre to me, to say the least. Some of them might have been an inspired substitution. Somebody might have got their toe to something, but I would have kept Sarr. Sarr is a really good, energetic type of player. Gives you 100% for 90 minutes, and you never know. Maddison might just have pulled one in at the last minute.
That's it. And the only sorry to interrupt, but the only thing I can think of as to why he did that was to bring more legs onto the pitch. But in reality, at that stage, what we needed was technique on the pitch rather than legs. Because so maybe I would take Sarr off and I'd bring Bergvall on for a bit more technique. But you want Maddison on the pitch because if the ball comes to him, or you want the ball to come to him 25 yards out, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, you're asking some of the other guests about Thursday night. A week ago, we would all have been dreading going to Manchester City. Spurs are an enigma. I've been a Spurs supporter all my life, and I'm used to this, and hopefully someday we'll get that consistency. So there's no reason that we can't go to Bournemouth on Thursday night and do the job and move on to Chelsea. These games are coming thick and fast. And if you want to be up there in the top four, these are games you're going to have to win. As you said it earlier on, the people are in the same pen as us. Man United, Chelsea had emphatic wins today. We were, struggling. Like Fulham are a good side.
Yeah, but you need to win those games.
We give them far too much room. Far too much.
No, thank you so much. And I think most importantly, I hope that the child that's crying in your house is okay.
Anyway, Barnaby, it's not too bad. It's my grandchild,
That'll do. Noel, thanks so much for calling in. Let's speak again after a game in future. Really appreciate it. Cheers. Come on, you Spurs. Okay, guys, it's been a long old watch along and instant match reaction. And once again, unfortunately, for the second game in a row, Tottenham were not able to get over the line and get a win. I guess if you're looking for a positive, you could say, well, we're not losing those games. We did at least get 2 draws against Roma and against Fulham, but we needed wins for that momentum, and we're struggling to get momentum at the moment. But I'm going to be patient and say it will come. Guys, in just 2 minutes' time, Chris Cowlin will be starting the Spurs Chat podcast. So come off this feed and go over to his Spurs Chat podcast for chat with journalists and Chris about the game and more. And thank you so much for watching this whole watch along. Please do drop the video a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe to Chris Cowlin on YouTube at Chris Cowlin, and give me a little subscribe if you're not already at Barnaby Slater _. And I will be back for that Bournemouth watch along on Thursday night, guys. Keep the faith. Everything's going to be all right. Come on, you Spurs.